following is a special presentation of ABC Sports.
For over a decade, the San Francisco 49ers have relied on the great Joe Montana, but he's injured and so is backup quarterback Steve Young. The 49ers playoff hopes now rest with this man. Steve Bono is his name. He played quarterback at UCLA in the early 80s, but he started only 2 non-strike games in his 7-year NFL career. The 49ers haven't missed the playoffs in 9 years, but this season they've lost more games than they've won. And if they're going to make the playoffs this year, it's Steve Bono who must take them there.
It's something that I've worked for to get this opportunity, and it wasn't sure if it would ever come. It took a lot of unusual circumstances, but crazier things have happened.
The 49ers and the Los Angeles Rams have been at each other's throats for years, and tonight, Steve Bono will return to Los Angeles for the next round of one of football's fiercest rivalry. The 49ers must win tonight as they meet the Los Angeles Rams on ABC's Monday Night Football.
Well, it's tumble time and it's fumble time. Hey, ready, set, go, you gotta hit that line. Hell, catch the ball. Hey, make the run. Oh, most of all, you gotta have a lot of fun. We're gonna make you smile and get rid of your blues and do the Monday Night Football boogie for you. Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Are you ready as the Niners and the Rams play for all the California gold? We're gonna make you smile and get rid of your blues and do the Monday Night Football boogie for you. Are you ready for the football? It's the game of the week that's coming your way. It's Monday Night Football and it's time to play.
ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. The San Francisco 49ers versus the Los Angeles Rams. Brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Engineered like no other car in the world. By Miller Lite. It's it, and that's that. By HBO, the home of champions. And by Delta Airlines. We love to fly, and it shows.
A picture-perfect Southern California evening. The palm trees in the foreground. A warm Santa Ana wind has been blowing for the past few days. Inside Anaheim Stadium, a late arriving crowd as the crowd coming to tonight's game, a sellout crowd anticipated, battling the freeways here in Southern California at 6 o'clock in the evening. A long-time rivalry, the San Francisco 49ers and the Los Angeles Rams. Hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford, along with Al Michaels and Dan Dierdorf. Glad you're with us as we wind down a wild and crazy NFL weekend. And speaking of wild, who would have thought at the beginning of the season that the Rams and the 49ers would be playing late in November? The loser would be dropping into the basement of the NFC West. The Rams are a puzzling football team. A couple of years ago, they played in the NFC Championship. They were 11-5 that year. They went 5-11 a year ago. They've lost 5 in a row coming in tonight. They are 3-8. Meanwhile, the 49ers, a familiar story. They were 14-2 a year ago. They lost to the Giants in the NFC Championship as they tried to go for their 3rd consecutive Super Bowl. But again, it is a familiar story. You are aware Montana's been out all year. They have lost his backup, Steve Young, 3 weeks ago. And Al Michaels, they're going to try and win all of them because they have to if they plan to be in the playoffs. And they're going to go tonight with the backup to the backup, and that is Steve Bono.
Well, think about this team. They let Ronnie Lott and Roger Craig go. Then they lose Montana. The whole identity of this team has been changed. They're not having a good year clearly at 5-6, but keep in mind those 6 losses have come by a total of 26 points. They haven't been that far away, and things don't look that bad. Bono might be the best number 3 quarterback in the league. They get Young back next week. Their running game was a priority in training camp. They're doing quite well, averaging 4.3 yards a carry. Don't count the 49ers out, though, for one reason. Their defense. They are allowing only 14 points a game, and at this point in the season, Only the Washington Redskins and the New Orleans Saints have played that well on that side of the ball. But they can't afford another loss because the way it looks right now, 10-6 gets you into the NFC playoffs, 9-7, a little shaky. Dan, last year we came in similar circumstances. The Rams not having a good year. John Robinson's job in jeopardy. He survived. New contract. This year, even worse. Can he survive 1991?
And that is the big question here in Ramland, Al. And you know, John Robinson is all anybody wants to talk about. He's now in his 9th year as head coach of the Rams, and look what he has done in his previous 8 full seasons. 6 times they won more than 10 games, won 10 or more. 6 times those years they made the playoffs, twice in the NFC Championship game, as Frank mentioned, the most recent coming only 2 years ago. Unfortunately, though, since then it has been abysmal. They won only 8 times and lost 19. What happens to John Robinson? Well, we all know that management fires coaches, and they often do. But players can fire the coach as well. That's when they stop playing for their head coach, when they stop responding to what he tells them to do. That's what everybody following the Rams wants to know. Will the Rams lay down for John Robinson, or will they play for him? The first installment tonight.
And if they win tonight, they will snap their 5-game losing streak. They've not lost 6 in a row in the same season since 1965 when Harlan Svari was their head coach. Tony Zendejas to kick off. The 49ers have Dexter Carter back to receive. Carter flanked by Spencer Tillman, and we're underway from Anaheim. At the 4-yard line, this is Dexter Carter bringing it back to the 25. A flag is down. The ball came loose, I believe, after he was down. In any event, the 49ers retain possession. Our referee is Pat Haggerty, and a flag on the opening kickoff.
Holding on the return, number 53, holding.
The hold on Bill Romanowski, very uncharacteristic of the 49ers. They lead the league in penalties per game. They're averaging almost 8. Here comes Steve Bono, making his 3rd start, his 7th year. Started with the Vikings, then to Pittsburgh, and then here. Carter and Rathman in the backfield. Rice and Taylor, the wideouts. Brent Jones, who was hurt the first half of the season, the tight end. Wallace, McIntyre, Sapolo, Foster, and Barton. A very fine offensive line. And for the Rams, Roman Pfeiffer, who is one of their starting linebackers, was injured. He also plays on special teams on the opening kickoff, so he is out. And Paul Butcher, his backup, will spell him. And that might be significant because it was Pfeiffer who was going to draw the assignment tonight, and there he is, being assisted off the field. He was going to be the man to very often cover the tight end Brent Jones.
I talked with Jeff Fisher earlier in the game, and he said he has really improved. He's built up a lot of weight this year. They plan on major things from Pfeiffer, not only for tonight but for the future, but he is at least on the sideline for the moment.
So first down, San Francisco from the 15. Bono takes off, but is taken down from behind by Kevin Green. Steve actually gained a yard, so there's no sack for Green, who over the past 3 years has averaged about a sack a game, but has only 1 this season.
It's a type of play where Bono really had an opportunity to run, and he delayed just that half second too long, and Kevin Green kept working, kept hustling, and got in on the play. And that's a nice way for Robinson's Rams to get this game underway. If Bono would have burst out of there just a shade earlier, he could have picked up some nice yardage.
2nd and 9, and Keith Henderson is their ace back in this set. Number 30, who's become their leading ground gainer. Bono fakes to him, throws, and that's incomplete. Intended for Jones. Brent Jones, the intended receiver, and he was trailed and covered by Michael Stewart. Now here's the Rams defense. Jeff Fisher is their new defensive coordinator. Green, who's been moving between linebacker and end, is on the line tonight with Wright Charles and the rookie Robert Young, who's looked pretty good. Strickland, Kelm, and Butcher now taking Pfeiffer's place at outside linebacker. Todd Light, their #1 draft choice rookie from Notre Dame. Henley on the other side. with Stewart and Terrell as the safeties. 3rd down and 9, and there is 33-year-old Jeff Fisher, who coached for Buddy Ryan in Philadelphia, then came out here under Robinson. 3rd down and 9 from the 16-yard line. That's John Taylor in motion. Good protection for Bono, drops it over the middle, and the question is, does Taylor get the first down? He appears to be a little short. Gray comes up to make the stop, and as you can see as we widen out, it appears he's a half-yard shy of the first down.
Little crossing pattern underneath Brent Jones, the tight end, as Taylor follows Rice across the middle, and good tackling, and short of the first down by Todd Light coming up with a good hit, the rookie from Notre Dame.
San Francisco 3 and out. Vernon Turner, who was picked up after he was released by Buffalo in preseason. Returning punts for the Rams. He sets up at the 35, and the former Jet, Joe Prokop, to kick. They signed him in mid-year, and that's a wobbly kick off the side of his foot, but it takes a good 49er bounce and spins out of bounds at the 33-yard line.
Boy, and that ball almost hit Michael Stewart. Did you see how close? Only about a yard away. Stewart had turned upfield to block and didn't realize how close that punt came to hitting his back leg.
Ugly thing, but it is good for 43 yards, gross and net. Here is Jim Everett. He didn't throw a touchdown pass the first 5 weeks of the season. 9 TDs, 13 interceptions. That's the sign of a not very good season. Dupree and McGee start in the backfield. Ellard and Anderson, the wideouts, and Damone Johnson, the tight end. Jenkins, Newberry, Doug Smith, the veteran center, Love, and Slater, who's been a Ram since 1976, the interior lineman. First down from the 33, and here is Dupree picking up 3. Marcus, the man who missed 5 years, thought his career was over. Rams signed him last year, and tonight he starts. Defensively, the 49ers, very tough. Holt and Fagan had been hurt. They're healthy now. Carter having a fine year in the middle. Harris, the former Packer. DeLong, Walter, and Romanowski are the linebackers. Charles Haley is hurt. Hanks and Griffin are the corners. Waymer and Bowles are the safeties. And there is Haley. I mentioned he is hurt, but he will play tonight, according to George Seifert, sparingly.
Well, it was very iffy, Al, as to whether or not he was even going to play 10 plays. It's a question right now where everyone on the 49er coaching staff is monitoring Haley with a bad hamstring to see, one, is he at risk of hurting himself by being slowed, and 2, can he be effective? Because as good as he is playing at 75%, he's not at the level that, say, Tim Harris would be playing at 100%. So George Seifert and his entire staff watching Haley closely.
3rd and 3 after that last Dupree 3-yard pickup. Everett comes up in the shotgun. Vernon Turner goes in motion. Everett needing 3, lofting one to the near side, and it is out of bounds. Vernon Turner makes the catch, but he's out of bounds. He was covered by the linebacker, Romanowski. And so the Rams, like the 49ers, go 3 and out on their first series.
And there's one that Jim Everett hung up for a long time. He could have drilled that in there. It looked rather simply for the first down, and he put it in the air, hung it up high. And as you can see, 1 down and 1 out.
When you can see the official there in the background, he was right on it.
John Taylor to return the punt. Dale Hatcher, who has not had a particularly good year, lofts one. It's a short kick, and it's fair caught by Taylor at the 33-yard line. And that kick good for just 27 yards. 49ers have it. Scoreless first quarter, 11:30 remaining. Very unusual for the 49ers this season. As you can see, they have outgained the opposition by more than 1,000 yards. 112 teams in the history of the league have done that. None of those teams has ever finished the season with a losing record. And that's better than 100 yards per game. The 49ers have outgained their opponents, and yet they are 5-6.
Well, they're 4th overall coming into this week in offense. They're 3rd defensively, and here they are nevertheless 5-6. Hard to fathom.
1st and 10 at the 33-yard line. That's Jerry Rice in motion, and Keith Henderson takes the handoff. and gets tripped up as he picks up a couple of the 36. Michael Stewart is there. I think one reason for those odd numbers, the 49ers, as we mentioned at the very top, have been edged. They've lost 6 games by 26 points. When they've won, they've normally blown their opponent away.
And what did George Seifert tell us? That it is situations like this season that make you realize how often Joe Montana came up with a miracle in the fourth quarter. I mean, we just came to expect it from him, but how often that he was the difference between losing that close game and winning the close game.
2nd and 7. Dexter Carter in motion. Rathman is the sole setback now. He stays in the block. And Bono looks for Rice, and Jerry makes the catch. A great catch at the 46-yard line. The gambling Darrell Henley tried for the interception, and Rice was there to make the catch and stay in bounds. 19-yard gain.
Pretty good position on Rice by Henley, as he has got help to the inside. He is supposed to play him to the outside. The safety was helping on the inside, but Henley only goes 5'9", going against the 6'2" Jerry Rice, and it was well thrown too, Al. Very well thrown.
The key there, I think, you saw Henley bite on that inside move and had to do a full spin to come back around into his coverage on Jerry Rice. And I think that spin is what caused him to be a little bit late getting there.
And yet he really didn't have to, because he had safety help on the inside. It was just a good move by Rice, a good delivery by Bono, and a fine catch by Rice to get both feet down.
Jerry Rice complaining last week about not being utilized extensively enough in the San Francisco offense, and Henderson started to stumble, lost the ball after he hit the ground, and they will spot it back near the 45-yard line. The umpire right there to place it just inside the 45.
You don't see that very often. A guy getting out into the open, had a great lead blocker in Rathman out in front, and Henderson just plain fell down.
Natural surface. They worked him hard last week against Phoenix, 15 attempts, and let's take a look at it from the reverse angle, and just caught the inside foot, and down he goes.
Somebody opened the trapdoor and got him.
That's where the ground can cause a fumble. Right there. Well, he wasn't touched.
That's where the ground can cause a tackle.
2nd and 8. They put it at the 43-yard line, and the 49ers looking like the old Cowboys here. Everybody's shifting. And Bono lofts one for Rathman, and Kevin Green is right there to make the tackle at the 41-yard line, and it's going to be 3rd and about 6.
And there is a look at Kevin Green, the man in the middle. Am I a linebacker? Am I a defensive end? In their scheme right now, he's a defensive end. He's ultimately going to end up a linebacker as he's playing on this particular play. He's got Rathman in coverage as he drops back into that outside flat, and he closes and makes a good play, knocking him out of bounds. Kevin Green's future with the Rams lies as a linebacker, not a defensive end.
3rd and 7. San Francisco at the 42. A scoreless first quarter.
Look out.
Bono under pressure. Lost one for Jones, who got open. And Brent Jones gets down to almost the goal line, but not quite. It is no touchdown. 1st and goal.
Oh, and how the 49ers have missed Brent Jones since he went down in the 2nd game of the season. He's just now getting back to where he's healthy and can get the respect that he gets in the secondary. When he gets coverage by a secondary man instead of a linebacker, that means that Rice and Taylor are not going to get double coverage. And look at the pressure. Bono also reading the blitz, and that's what happens when you can get Jones tied up on a safety. He's usually going to beat him. That time, Michael Stewart. There's the knee going down, and that's where they mark it.
And Robert Young, the rookie defensive tackle, hits Steve Bono right in the head. He's the one that had the pressure. And he's lucky he didn't draw a flag for hitting the quarterback in the head. Meanwhile, the umpire stepped in, and they're taking a look at this up in the replay booth, I am sure. There's Brent Jones, whose loss was significant to this team when he went out earlier in the year. And he might be the best tight end in the National Football League.
You know, Dan, he caught 56 passes a year, 41 for first downs. We'll watch the knee again, but when you can force them to cover your tight end as...
Play is being reviewed by instant replay.
The knee touches there, Frank, right at the 1-yard line.
Down by rule. Would you please reset the 25-second clock to 5 seconds, please? 5 seconds on the 25-second clock.
Somebody get Pat Haggerty a throat lozenge.
But again, when you can get Jones tied up with the secondary instead of a linebacker, that's eventually going to lead to one-on-one coverage to either Rice or Taylor, and that's when the 49ers can blow you away.
First and goal, San Francisco. 8:52 remaining in the opening quarter. Harry Sidney, 24, and Rathman, 44, in behind Bono.
This is where they like to give it to Rathman.
And play is dead. There's no play. Yeah. Whistle had blown. No play.
That's no surprise that 44 got the ball. This is his office right here inside the 5-yard line.
Set the clock at 5 seconds and stop it, please. Stop it.
Pat's getting a little upset here.
Yeah.
I said stop it.
Set it at 5 seconds and stop it.
So I guess Haggerty realized that they had a problem with the clock and blew his whistle right before the snap of the football, wanting to reset the clock.
And the game clock stayed the same.
Well, when is he going to start it now here?
Well, it is the play clock, so he can't. I mean, these 49ers better get down in their stance, because all of a sudden Haggerty's going to blow the whistle, and they've got 5 seconds to snap the ball.
That's the question. When is he going to start winding it? Well,
I think he will tell the quarterback to get over the center.
To 8:52. 8:52 on the game clock.
Well, the game clock went down to 8:47. Now they're going to put 5 more seconds back on that. Oh, man.
Thank you.
Off to a shaky start here.
Bono better get his club on the line. When's Haggerty going to start the clock?
He will tell the quarterback to get over the center. There he goes.
Play clock down to 1.5. And here is Sidney looking for room. And Sidney on that second lunge, he's in for the touchdown. Initially thwarted, and then Sidney was able to find some open space and get in, taking Michael Stewart in with him.
And now they'll review this one. The Rams arguing bitterly that he did not get in, and we'll take a look at it. Here we are with our camera right on the goal line. Rathman, the lead blocker. McIntyre kicking out. Oh, he's not in. He's not in.
He's not close to being in.
Oh. Henderson's back lands on the 1-yard line. Oh, no.
If the hand is by the Ram touches him. If the Ram had not touched him, he could have spun into the end zone, but he was touched.
Yeah, you can see Mike Charles making an argument right there, and he's right.
This game has a nice rhythm and flow to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, really.
I think Charles is saying that I didn't flop on him, I just touched him. Let's take a look.
He's touched right there while he's down.
Actually, it's Tom Gibson, but he didn't try to pile on him or anything.
You know, Michael Stewart touches him 23.
Yes, he caused him to go down originally. Oh, they're going to have to spot this ball on about the half-yard line, I would imagine.
Yep. It's not where Gibson touches him. Stewart's the guy that creates Sidney going to the turf.
And then after they spot the ball, maybe they can reset the play clock, and then they can reset the game clock.
And we can do the opening again.
Reset my watch.
Right.
And
we can take a station break. Come on, guys.
What are you guys looking at? I mean,
Bill Stanley is the replay official. Looking for guidance.
Maybe they're just letting the crowd get to their seats.
Touchdown.
What?
It is?
Well, that's puzzling. Because he was down before he was touched, and he was down before the ball broke the plane.
I think most people in our audience know my opinion of instant replay, and that's why I don't like it.
And I share it, of course.
Well, I'm a proponent, but I tell you what, more situations like that, and I'll come over to the other side. They're saying we are being told that the replay official said it was inconclusive because they lost sight of the ball on the replay. If they did, get those guys some new monitors. 7-0. 49ers.
Spare me.
WTAE-TV, Pittsburgh.
IBM presents You Make the Call. Barry Heldon of the 49ers punts to Gerald McNeil of the Oilers, who mishandles the bouncing ball of the 3. The ball is eventually recovered in the end zone by Tom Rathman of the 49ers. Now you make the call. Whose ball is it and where? What call did you make? To avoid awarding a cheap touchdown to the kicking team, the ball is awarded to the kicking team at the spot of first touching.
Stop and go start in Anaheim tonight. 49ers have the lead. It is 7-0 with 8:43 to go in the opening quarter. Mike Colfer to kick off. Vernon Turner and the rookie David Lang are back. This is David Lang, rookie out of Northern Arizona, who gets run down by Bowles up at the 27-yard line. Take a look at the numbers on the 49ers scoring drive. After the Hatcher punt, 6 plays and 67 yards. The key, of course, was the 41-yard pass to Jones. Sidney takes it in. And next week, this has become a fascinating matchup. The red-hot Eagles, and we'll talk to Jim McMahon at halftime, against the Oilers, beaten in Pittsburgh yesterday with a chance to salt away the AFC Central.
Philadelphia with perhaps the best defense in the game today, going against perhaps the most explosive offense. And it's going to be interesting to see how Bud Carson plays Houston defensively.
Eagles and Oilers next Monday night from Houston. Here's Everett back to pass from the 26-yard line. Throws to Henry Ellard. And Ellard, the Rams' ace receiver for a number of years, is thrust back all the way to the 31 after his forward progress had taken him to the 45, a 19-yard gain.
Little attention given to the rookie Merton Hanks, starting left cornerback for the 49ers. 5th-round draft pick out of Iowa. Ellard found him. He laid off Ellard 4 or 5 yards, and Everett, when he has the time to throw the ball, it is picture perfect. That time Hanks laying well off Ellard, and they get the first down after the 45.
Ellard in his 9th year out of Fresno State. Everett's main man. First down from the 45-yard line. Here's Marcus Dupree escaping a tackle in the backfield, but not even getting back to the line of scrimmage because of the pursuit. Mike Walter is there to make the contact along with Dave Waymer. Meanwhile, the report on Roman Pfeiffer, a fractured right ankle. He's the rookie from UCLA, their 2nd-round pick. Their starting outside linebacker, good special teams player, hurt on the opening kickoff and clearly finished for the season.
And it's been documented so well out here, but nationally, because not many of the big names in pro football have been involved, but the Rams have suffered an unbelievable series of injuries going all the way back to training camp. It's just been absolutely amazing the number of serious injuries they've had.
Especially defensively and along that front. First down from the, or 2nd and 11 from the 44-yard line as Everett is forced to scramble, chased by Holt, and out of bounds he goes up at the 46-yard line, just about 2 yards past the line of scrimmage. The 3rd down and 9.
Everett, unfortunately, flushed out of the pocket when he was flooding all his receivers to the left. He scrambled to the right. He had no place to put it. Not one of your speedy, agile type quarterbacks to begin with.
Well, a milestone tonight. This is the 1,000th game a Goodyear blimp has covered since 1961.
When you counted those?
Well, we have all the facts and figures. Goodyear blimp hovering high above Anaheim Stadium on a sparkling evening. 3rd down and 9. And Robert Jenkins was the guy who moved, and that precipitated Haley's forward movement. If Jenkins doesn't sound familiar, his name was Robert Cox. Same guy.
Ball
Back
start,
up.
number 72, offense.
Backed up a tackle for a number of years here in his 6th season.
And he's playing left tackle because of the injury to Gerald Perry, the former Denver Bronco who settled in at left tackle here for John Robinson and who suffered a knee injury and had surgery, and he's out for the rest of the year, and Jenkins filling in.
49ers very wisely moving Haley over to the outside, bring him on the pass rush, and Jenkins well aware of the quickness of Haley, and he just pulled up.
Haley playing a lot more than we were led to believe that he might.
3rd and 14. Everett has to get it to the 49er 45-yard line, and they'll come up about 4 yards shy as Robert Del Pino comes out of the backfield to catch the pass and take it to the 49er 49. But Hatcher has to come in to punt with 6 minutes to go in the quarter.
Not only is he playing more, Dan, he looks full speed to me. I'm talking about Haley.
Really, and it's a good thing the blocking in the middle was stout, so Everett could step up because Haley sure shortened the corner. There he is, and one of the best pure pass rushers this game has seen in quite a while.
Dale Hatcher, his last punt was 27 yards. This one will be considerably better. Taylor lets it bounce, and the Rams, do they get a break?
No.
David Lang got down there. The ball started to skitter sideways, but not in time for Lang and Lilly to make the touch before it crosses the goal line. So the 49ers will get it at the 20. 5:30 to go. Opening quarter in Anaheim. 7-0 San Francisco. If you'd have told Ed DeBartolo or George Seifert you'd see this sight the 13th week of the season, Montana left and Young right, he'd have had a heart attack.
$4.5 million looking on.
Either one. Yep. Young will be back probably next week. In fact, Young dressed out in practice tonight and did a little bit of throwing, but he's inactive for the game. Meanwhile, it's Bono at the helm, 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. Taylor in motion. Bono throwing, and that's a 14-yard pickup, and Jerry Rice makes his second catch, but a flag is down back at the 10-yard line.
Jerry Rice going up high to make Steve Bono look pretty good on that pass.
I think it was Wallace and Green who got tangled up.
There's Kevin Green in the lower right-hand part of your screen. He's rushing the quarterback, but here's what's happening downfield. Jerry Rice, as all the 49er receivers do, so easily go into the middle and make the catch and take the hit.
Holding. Number 62, offense.
Call is on Guy McIntyre for the hold, negating the 14-yard gain. Instead, it takes the 49ers back to the 10. 1st and 20. Seifert's team on top 7-0. 5:19 to go in the first quarter. Carter and Rathman behind Bono. Taylor, as he is prone to do, able to break tackles into Ram territory. Inside the 15, tackled at the 10. Vintage John Taylor.
Wasn't it last 2 years ago that we were here from the same end of the field? John Taylor, I think that game had like a 92-yarder
and a 95-yarder
in the same game, and here he goes again.
It was a good, safe call with the young quarterback. With the 1st and 20, they throw a hitch to Taylor, who is a punt return man with great hands, and he just puts on a punt return here. And Taylor making Steve Bono's numbers look awfully good, as Rice did a few moments ago. These two outside receivers, the two best in the league on any given team. There's no question about it.
78-yard gain for Taylor, who had a 97-yard TD reception against Atlanta earlier this year. Here's Keith Henderson taking the ball down to the 10-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
Good call for the young quarterback a moment ago with Steve Bono looking at a 1st and 20. They just give you a little hitch to Taylor. Nothing risky downfield, and then let Taylor do the rest of it.
San Francisco on top 7-0. 3.5 minutes to go. First quarter, 2nd down and 8. Flag down. Bono throws it out of the end zone. In the back of the end zone was Rice. He was covered by Light, and there's a flag down at the line of scrimmage.
Illegal motion. Offense, number 80.
Jerry Rice
Jerry just got a little jump off the line of scrimmage, beating the snap.
If he was a lineman, they'd have called that a false start. There's Jerry Rice on the right-hand side of your screen. Watch how he starts early. There he goes.
Interesting. The wide receivers usually will look down the line of scrimmage and see the football. Rice was looking upfield to check out the coverage. Very quiet here in Anaheim, as it's been for the past few games, and he was able to hear the snap count. I mean, nevertheless, he beat it.
I think that's maybe indicative of how badly Jerry Rice would like to catch a football.
They put it at the 9-yard line, 3rd down and 7. Bono throwing over the middle. The catch is made. That's Taylor, and Taylor takes it inside the 1. Pat Terrell is there to stop him from going into the end zone, but it will be a 1st and goal.
And that's Tom Rathman really in there trying, Brent Jones rather, number 84, in there trying to protect his teammate. Imagine we'll have another replay look at this now that we're down that close to the goal line.
Mandatory.
Obligatory.
Sure enough, the umpire says hold everything.
And again, that little trailing pattern, we've seen it twice already tonight. Taylor trailing Rice and Brent Jones, and Bono finding the open spot. Let's watch the goal line.
Looks like
question he's short.
Looks like an awful good spot to me. And the replay booth agrees, and away we go.
So it's 1st and goal.
Jerry Rice are talking to Lindsey McLean, the 49er trainer.
Sidney and Rathman, the running back. Sidney scored their first touchdown. And they give it to Rathman behind Sidney. And Rathman gets their second. And so the 49ers with 2 touchdowns in the opening quarter in a game they must win.
And they're moving the ball in the air, but they're also dominating in short yardage with their offensive line against what has to be, well, you got to call it a makeshift defense. They've been picking up players for the past 2 or 3 weeks just to find a body to put in there in the defensive line positions, and they're just blown out of there by the 49ers. Rathman looking to get hit. He doesn't get hit until he's 3 yards in the end zone. So they're moving it in the air, and they probably could move it just as easily on the ground.
Mike Cofer for the point after. Flag is down. Kick was good, clearly. Cofer run into by Lilly, and that's probably the penalty. And if it is, the kick will be good. It'll be assessed on the kickoff.
Well, it looked like there was some movement up on the line of scrimmage before the snap, too.
There are 2 flags down.
Yeah, Cofer, by the way, Al and Frank, lucky he's not hurt bad. He took a real shot.
We have defense offside. Also, running into the kicker, number 27, penalized on the kickoff.
That's Sammy Lilly, who ran into Cofer. But watch this. Watch how he's going to get hit by Lilly right on the knee as Cofer follows through. Oh, wow. Ooh, and that's how a guy can really get hurt.
Philadelphia's gonna try to put out the Oilers light. It's gonna be a smash mouth showdown Monday night.
2 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
Jerry Rice there on the sidelines, guys, has had an ice pack there. He picked it up. He's had it on his elbow, on the underside of his forearm. Probably took a shot or a bruise there of some type.
Cofer, and that one comes out of the end zone.
That's going to be that's going to be a safety. That's a safety.
Once it comes out, you can't go back in with it.
The ball was beyond the goal line, pulled back into the end zone, and that's all there is to that.
And that, folks, that's the Ram season. I mean, it's been that kind of a year.
I mean,
David Lang, the rookie.
Now the ball is going to be booted out right there. You can see, and once it's out there, guys, you got to take off with it. You can't crawl back in and seek sanctuary in the end zone.
Well, Vernon Turner tried to bring it back in. Let's face it, the big mistake, just let it go. It's 8 yards into the end zone to begin with. Why in the world would you even catch it for starters?
Well, you know, we're analysts, and some plays have no explanation. It's just a malfunction. Every now and then the brain just doesn't do what you've conditioned it to do, and in that heat of the moment you make the wrong decision, and that's what Vernon Turner does right there.
Well, one of the oldest cliches in sport, a rookie mistake by not on Turner's part but on Lang's part to even attempt to field it 8 yards into the end zone. Turner tries to sneak it back, but it costs him 2 points. It is 16-0 with 2:39 to go in the first quarter. And the Rams now with a free kick from the 20-yard line. So
do you
punt it.
Do you sense a growing hostility among the faithful here at the Big A?
Well, hostility in Anaheim is a little different than hostility in New York and Philadelphia and a few other places.
Yeah, they'll throw sushi at the players.
Fielded at the 26-yard line by Sanjay Beach, who takes it back to the 40. Yeah, that's the ultimate form of protest. Well, for Robinson, he's now on the verge of doing something that a Ram team hasn't done since 1965, and that is lose 6 straight. Harlan Sparry was the coach in '65 when it happened. And the 49ers with a 16-0 lead in the ball at their own 40-yard line. Mike Sherrard in the game, wide to the left, Rice wide right, and they give it to Keith Henderson. And Henderson takes it up to the 45-yard line. He's been injured a lot the past 2 seasons. They drafted him in '89 out of Georgia, where he was basically the blocking back for the Bulldogs for Tim Worley. But now he has become, I don't want to say necessarily their featured back, but a very key part of their offense.
He's probably, like Rathman, an excellent receiver, on an equal of Rathman's coming out of the backfield as a receiver. But you use the words, Al, feature back. Now, let's be realistic. This team doesn't have a feature back. You know, the feature back was a guy named Roger Craig, and he is in Los Angeles. It just happens to be that he's here as a member of the Raiders. This team needs that every down back. Dexter Carter isn't the guy.
2nd and 4, and there's Jerry Rice uncharacteristically dropping one, but he was close to being out of bounds anyway. 3rd down and 4. Well, Thanksgiving weekend coming up, and some extra treats for college football fans. Thanksgiving Day, that game starts at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, while you're basting the turkey. Penn State and Pitt here on ABC. Then on Friday, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Huskers win. They go to the Orange Bowl. Oklahoma wins. Colorado goes to the Orange Bowl. You'll see that at 1:30. And then the big one on Saturday, Florida State #3 and Florida #5. As Keith would say, let the state of Florida, let the big dog hunt Saturday.
3 teams in the top 5: Miami, Florida, Florida State.
3rd and 4, and Bono's going to take a timeout. After looking at the Ram defensive alignment, we have 1:39 to go in the first quarter in Anaheim. 16-0, 49ers. The Rams, well, I guess maybe you could put that L in there instead of the R, with a B between the M and the S.
Oh, it hasn't come to this yet, has it?
Yeah, I'm afraid it has.
Here's a guy who has his holidays mixed up. Thanksgiving, not Halloween.
3rd down and 4 from the 46-yard line as Bono fires to Taylor, and his forward progress out at the 49 of the Rams before he is dropped back by Anthony Newman,
who delivers a lecture to John Taylor while he has him down on the ground.
Enough for a first down.
Bono does put that ball up high. Those wide receivers going to have a word with him before long. He stretched Taylor out that time. Taylor pulled up when he saw the zone, and Bono reads it with him. He hangs it up high for him, and Taylor goes up, and he knows he's going to get pounded.
Oh. That ball has lots of names. What, the old medicine ball, the therapy ball? Or you need it after you catch it. And
it takes great concentration, and as you said earlier, Dan, both those wide receivers have it. Taylor and Rice, they'll catch it in the tough spot.
I wonder if Taylor was taking notes there.
Bono hit as he throws, and thus the pass is clearly underthrown. Mike Charles came in and had a shot at Bono, and that forced the errant throw.
He's one of the players I talked about a moment ago that was just signed recently. He was signed November the 8th. Been around a little bit. Cut by the Raiders. Started and has played for a couple of teams, and the Rams just needed a couple of warm bodies earlier in the month as player after player went down, and they picked up Mike Charles. And he has been, well, he's been their tough man along that front four.
2nd down and 10. John Taylor has already caught 4 balls in the first quarter for 100 yards. And Bono goes for Sherrard, but has it broken up by Darrell Henley, who's frustrated he didn't intercept it.
You know, that's just Darrell Henley studying all week long, looking at the films, the videos. That's what they actually look at. But Henley read that, read the formation, read the movement, and he made the move on the ball and almost picked it off. Sherrard breaks it to the inside. Henley has checked out the formation. He drives in front of Sherrard and almost comes up with it. Good read by Henley.
42 seconds left first quarter. 16-0 49ers. 3rd and 10 San Francisco at the Ram 48. Bono again hit as he throws, was dumping it off, and that time Kevin Green got in to break the play up. 4th down.
And a good series for the Los Angeles defense. And let's be realistic. They needed one desperately. The 49ers haven't been scoring a lot of points. And the Rams defensively are still in the ballpark of keeping the 49ers at something resembling a reasonable score. And this is the type of play that it takes to do it. Kevin Green just going right around the corner on Harris Spartan, and that is just good, excellent upfield pass rushing.
Good. Bono could have stepped up, though, Dan, too, and he just didn't do it.
Joe Prokop with a terrible kick off the side of his foot that bounces out of bounds near the 25. Ralph Mosienko started the season as their punter, and then they signed Prokop in mid-October. Bad kick, 23 yards.
So what do you have here now? You've had a good defensive stand by your club. You've had a poor punt, relatively good field position at the 25-yard line. Now it's up to Jim Everett and his offensive team to make something happen. I mean, they don't have many more free rides before this game gets out of hand.
Rams have gotten off to a terrible start much of the season, as reflected by that figure, 78-16.
I mean, think about that for a minute. 78-16.
Puts you in a hole and makes you pass a lot more than you'd like to.
That's how you come up with 300-yard games.
Yep.
3 in a row for Everett, 4 of the last 5, and they've lost 5 games in a row.
Marcus Dupree, it's a funny thing now. Robinson said as Dupree loses the football, was he down? He was down. Robinson said he wants to go back to running the ball. Well, that's all well and good, but when you're down 16-0, then what do you do?
Well, he said that last week before the Detroit game. Detroit came out with a defense that took the run away from him. He had to put it up in the air, and then he had to come back and defend what he had said earlier about he was going to go back to the running game. And he's getting into a situation where he's going to have to throw here tonight.
End of one, 16-0 49ers. We'll return to Monday Night Football after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Well, the 49ers in a must-win situation, clearly a cliche, but if they win tonight, only one more road game the rest of the way. Don't count them out.
10-6, they go to the playoffs. They'll tell you in '88 they were 10-6, and they win and won the Super Bowl 23 that year.
It's just single elimination. That's the way they're looking at it. It's just the playoffs for them started in early November.
Delpino makes a juggling catch as we start the second quarter, takes it out to the 37-yard line. And that is enough for a Los Angeles first down. Dave Weimer makes the tackle.
As much as John Robinson would like to look at Marcus Dupree, the big running back that he loves so much, Delpino can do so many things for you. Good receiver out of the backfield, good runner out of the backfield. And he has been the man this year, rushed for a career-high 570-plus yards. And into the night, 42 receptions. He's been the offense for the Rams.
First down, L.A. from the 37. It's the start of the second quarter, 16-0 San Francisco. And Marcus Dupree takes it to the 40-yard line. First quarter dominated by San Francisco in every way, especially in passing yardage. And we can tell you that ABC's Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by Aetna, a policy to do more. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Dierdorf. Rams have it at their own 40-yard line, 2nd and 7. This is Del Pino, and he picks up 3 out to the 43-yard line, setting up a 3rd and 4. DeLong and Holt converge on the tackle.
Talked about the sudden death situation for the 49ers coming up for them. They have New Orleans, and they travel to Seattle, and they can have Kansas City at home, and we'll have that final Monday night game with the Chicago Bears. And they feel that even though they're in sudden death, they finished 10-6, they'll be there.
Meanwhile, the Rams, I think they could go through the season without winning another game. Washington here next week, Atlanta, and then 2 road games at Minnesota and at Seattle. 3rd and 3 as Everett throws, and that's incomplete, and great coverage, blanket coverage by Kevin Lewis all over Flipper Anderson. 4th down.
That is as good as a cornerback can cover a wide receiver in man coverage. I mean, that is just watch number 45, Kevin Lewis. Watch how he stays, and look how he anticipates the break to the sideline by Flipper Anderson. And granted, a little contact, but that's not going to get called. That's just brilliant coverage there by Lewis.
Answer to punt. His 3rd kick of the night. Fielded at the 21 by Sanjay Beach. And he brings it back to the 24, tackled by David Lang. 12:34 left in the first half. 16-0, 49ers. .12:34 left in the first half. The 49ers on top 16-0.
We should have kept that thing up there so people couldn't see the score. Actually, that's not true. It's actually 21-21 here in the second quarter in a closely fought game.
49ers at their own 23, 1st and 10 as they begin this possession. Steve Bono giving it to Rathman, and Rathman can't escape the clutches at the line of scrimmage at the 23-yard line. Michael Stewart, the safety, who comes up to make the tackle. 2nd and 10.
There's a Ram that's having a good year. Michael Stewart, heavy hitter from that safety spot, came up, made a stop right at the line of scrimmage.
Ram defense, and they've tried to change it a bit this year with Jeff Fisher coming in from Philadelphia. They wanted to be more aggressive. I mean, it sounds great in the offseason. It helps you sell some tickets, but you need the bodies. You need the guys who can play that defense.
And he left some great bodies, didn't he?
2nd down and 10 from the 23-yard line. Dexter Carter in motion. Bono, the pump fake, and he dumps it off for Rathman to the 31. You know, you look at a guy like Steve Bono, 7th year in the league and all of that, and you know, when you talk about number 3 quarterbacks, if the Eagles had Bono as their number 3 quarterback, they might be 10-1 right now.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Of course, a lot of that because of the defense, and I know, Al, at the top of the show, you called him the best 3rd-string quarterback in the NFL as we look at number 1 and number 2. You guessed the order. But you're right. Steve Bono is more than just qualified, and that was an excellent example of it there as he came to Rathman as probably his 3rd choice.
3rd down and 2 from the 31-yard line.
Here's Green. Look out.
Catch is made by Henderson, and he breaks it to the Ram 46-yard line, tackled by Stewart.
Another good read by Bono, too. Very calmly stepped up, pops it to Henderson. Earlier, when he was really impressive, is when he hit Brent Jones on a full blitz. Jones and Bono right in sync. Kevin Green, he knows he's going to be there, and he takes the shot, but he gets the completion.
This game is 1/3 over, and Bono has thrown for 192 yards. taking some pops and getting back up. First and 10 at the 46. The fake. Bono looks for Rice, but he's covered. However, a flag is thrown. He was double covered. Light and Terrell were both with him. And they may talk about whether that pass could have been caught to begin with, if it is interference on the Rams.
The thing of it is if the penalty happens far upfield, see, that's just if it occurs far enough upfield, they're not going to be able to make a determination as to whether it was catchable or not, because, you know, if it happened 20 yards away, who can say the ball wasn't catchable? All right, there's Todd Light.
And double coverage all the way, too. And just a bad read by Bono there. He had Jamie Williams wide open.
Well, you can only make contact with the receiver within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. You can't continue to bump him like that going downfield. And that's exactly the call against Todd Light. I mean, you get that 5-yard zone that you're allowed to take your shot, but then after that, contact is verboten.
Thank you, Ed Dierdorf.
Well, now that is a rookie mistake by Todd Light, and certainly nothing to condemn him for. I mean, he has been a fine draft choice, a good #1 choice for the Rams, something that has been somewhat of a change of pace for them.
And he's now taken over for Jerry Gray, who was their longtime corner and had been to the Pro Bowl, but was hurt last year and is just not the same Jerry Gray. First down at the 41-yard line. Henderson to the 36.
There's Jerry Gray. 4 times he went to the Pro Bowl. Tore his knee up in the preseason a year ago, and actually works very well into the nickel defense. Has turned into a fine nickel player. And he's one of the best ever to play that corner.
But the knee surgery, Frank, cost him some speed, as you well know, and if there is one position on the field where a loss of speed is fatal, it's a cornerback.
Second down and 5. Keith Henderson a little shaken up on that last play. Came hobbling off, and Dexter Carter comes in along with Rathman as the split backs. Second and 5 from the 36-yard line. Bono going deep for Taylor, and great coverage by Darrell Henley. A good cover corner was right there, timing the jump perfectly.
Well, and again, Bono got banged. That time Mike Charles collapsed the interior of the 49er line and dropped Steve Bono once again, but a well-thrown ball right on it.
Look at Henley, how far he's laying off Taylor, and he immediately reads it's going to be a fly pattern. Taylor could have made the out move on. Bono hangs it up there, but he really takes a hammering too, and down he goes.
It'll be 3rd and 5 at the 36-yard line. 9:15 to go in the half. 16-0 San Francisco. Rathman takes it to the 31 and very close to a first down, popped by Kelm.
That's Nebraska football, isn't it? You can hear it all the way up here. Rathman goes looking for a linebacker.
Well, he got a good trap block by Roy Foster to get it started. One of the things the 49ers have always done is had their guards pull and trap effectively. Foster gets the key block, then Kelm tries to take on Rathman, and as you'll notice, Rathman landed 3 yards farther than where he first made contact with Larry Kelm.
Kelm overrunning it just a little bit, and Rathman goes about 235 pounds, and when he puts that head down, he is really a bull.
He's got it.
Great effort.
I mentioned the quality of the pulling by the 49er guards. There's Foster, 67. He gets a kick out. Barton, 79, turns upfield. He took it a little wide, and Rathman, realizing it's a short yardage play, says, well, I'm not going to gamble for the big play. I'll take just what I need to get the first down, and he curled it back to the inside. But these 49er offensive linemen all have the ability to run, to pull, to trap, and to lead.
First and 10 at the 31-yard line. Gerard in motion. Bono trying to go over 200 yards and does. Hits Rice. Jerry inside the 10. Rice to the 2. Fred Strickland saves the touchdown momentarily. 29-yard gain.
Missed tackle.
Oh, great effort by Rice.
That's all it is.
Shakes off a tackle that should have been made at about the 10-yard line. And almost gets that touchdown that has eluded him over the past few games.
There's the miss right there. Pat Terrell. Yep. He had the beat on Rice and just missed him cleanly. Again, here comes Terrell, 37. That's his play to make. I mean, Rice comes into his zone, and it's a clean whiff.
Rice in motion. Bono throws, and that one is low. One of the few terrible-looking passes he's thrown tonight, and there's a little skirmish that breaks down in the end zone. Kelm is there, Strickland is there, and it was Rathman at the bottom for the moment.
And Kevin Green wanting to be there.
Yeah.
He's one of the more ornery players in the NFL, and can't hardly stand the thought of there being a fight on the other side of the field that he's not involved in. So he invited himself to the dance. Okay, here's the short hop. Now watch Rathman, 44. Ooh, as he clips. Oh, he hits Fred Strickland from behind. Oh, no wonder there was a fight out there. Oh, I mean, that is just, that's a personal foul, a late hit, a clip.
No flag, though. Second and goal. Fake to Rathman. Bono throws into the end zone to Sidney. A touchdown, and Bono in the first 22 minutes of the game has thrown for 223 yards.
Bono with just a little play action and very effective. Jones simulates the block. Up comes the strong safety and touchdown 49ers to Harry Sidney. Good drive by Steve Bono, and again, considering the defense he's up against, well, just how good is it? Dan touched on something at the very top of the show, is how are these Rams going to come in and play tonight?
Looks like we're going to have lots of time to talk about it.
Too much time. Steve Bono.
Encroachment. Defense, number 79.
Steve Bono almost quit football. Think about this. After 2 years in Minnesota, 2 years in Pittsburgh, he barely plays. He gets released. Nobody's really interested in him. He tries that with the Rams. They don't offer him a deal. The 49ers do. He was going to become a stockbroker.
We asked him why he went to the 49ers. He said, because I could get a job there.
Yep.
Well, you're right. He has his license. We asked him for a couple tips yesterday.
He said short everything.
We didn't know it was number 13. You would think that was number 16 out there, Joe Montana, with those kinds of numbers.
Be bullish Al Michaels down there.
But again, a very suspect Rams defensive team.
I'm just thinking about Chicago getting ready for a Bears promo. 7.5 to go, 23-0. Now it's time for a regular feature on what's new in the world of sports science and technology.
Jim McMahon has the Eagles thinking wild card. Warren Moon has the Oilers thinking Super Bowl. They meet next week on ABC's Monday Night Football.
Back in Anaheim Stadium on a very pleasant night, but not very pleasant on the field for Ram fans. In fact, very ugly. 23-0 San Francisco as you look down from the Goodyear Blimp, Columbia, high above Orange County. We have 7:37 remaining in the first half. 49ers comfortably in front.
Boy, do you know how tough it is to play in a game like this if you're Los Angeles Ram. You're 3-8. This is 4 more games after this one. This is really a gut check now for them to see how they pull themselves together. Down 23-0 midway through the second quarter, and a lot of these guys are not going to be here next year.
But they're getting paid to play.
Exactly.
A Bronx cheer for Vernon Turner, who makes the catch in the end zone. And here comes Everett. What about Jim, who came here in '86 after he refused to sign with Houston. Jim Everett in that trade, 2 players go to the Oilers, 2 first-round picks and 1 other pick. He's made 75 starts in his first 25, 15, and 10. Not bad. Second 25, 15, and 10. Last 25, 7 and 18. Going on 19 and start 76.
What did John Robinson say? We maybe have expected too much of him this year. They have escalated their passing game each and every year that he's been here. He feels that he's the guy that's got to get it done. He feels he's the only one that can win a football game, and he has, quite frankly, self-destructed on several occasions this year.
And then you have a busted play, down by 23.
And here it comes.
Well, it sounds self-serving for this package, but it's the truth. Not only are the Rams getting embarrassed right now, but the last place you want to be embarrassed is on Monday Night Football. You want to do it on a point-to-point game if it's going to happen.
Pretty obvious that Dupree was the one who went the wrong way. All the blocking over the right side. Everett knows where the hole should be, turns around, tries to get in it.
And yet, I'll guarantee you that 90% of those boos were directed at Jim Everett.
Exactly. Yeah. Dupree going the wrong way.
Second and 10 from the 20. Here's Dupree, and he can't even get to the line of scrimmage. Tim Harris makes the stop. Well, John Robinson was saying that even though they were 5-11 last year, 3-8 this year, he said things were much, much better this year. But you know what? That was forced enthusiasm. Totally. Completely. He knows better.
1.6 yards per carry.
Going for a man who loves to run the football. That's been his life in coaching. All those tailbacks at USC. Dickerson when he was here.
That's 2 weeks in a row. Last week, 26 yards. The entire day against Detroit. The pass is caught by Ellard, giving the crowd something to cheer about, and a first down. Everett to Ellard to get him out of a 3rd and long hole up at the 33-yard line. First down.
You know, there are not a lot of quarterbacks who can put the velocity on that football to overthrow the underneath back and still get it that far across the field. 35 yards in the air. He still times it out beautifully for the first. He has a great arm, there's no question.
Frank, you're exactly right. That was a rocket shot.
First and 10 up at the 33-yard line with Delpino in motion. Everett throws, and that's incomplete, intended for the tight end Damone Johnson. He was covered by Keith DeLong. Second and 10. You know, we were talking about the Rams and their lack of a running game last week against Detroit. 26 yards on 19 carries. Their fewest rushing yards in a game since 1966.
And this was a game where going in they said they wanted to run the football against Detroit. Defensively, they took Barry Sanders out of the game.
And what are they now? 0.2 of a yard ahead of that average.
Yep. Second and 10 from the 33. Delpino, and that won't help the average. That's no gain or a minimal loss. Pierce Holt is there to tackle him. Rams came into the game averaging 3.3 yards a carry. The 49ers, who are supposed to be the team with huge problems on the ground, 4.3 yards a carry. The league average, if you're wondering, 3.9 at the moment.
We'll stay on top of the story for you.
We'll break into the regularly scheduled programming for you. 3rd and 12 at the 31. 5 minutes to go in the half. 23-0 49ers. Everett throws at Jim Price, the tight end. Makes the catch at the 37, considerably short of the first down. Tackled by Waymer, and Hatcher comes into punt for Los Angeles.
Jim Price is quite a story. Off the practice team of the Rams a year ago, has turned into a fine tight end for them. He has 30 receptions into tonight. Free agent out of Stanford. Got a little bigger, got a little brighter, got a little more talented, and he's turned into a pretty fine tight end. One of the few good stories, optimistic stories with these Rams.
Hatcher, and this is a terrible looking kick. but it's fumbled at the 37-yard line by Beach and recovered by Price. So the Rams get a break, but there's a flag down at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Beach muffs the kick, and it's cleanly recovered by the Rams. And if this goes against Los Angeles, and it does, can you imagine that?
Los Angeles recovered the ball down here.
And it appears Linnell Sanders is the guy who is guilty of the infraction.
There's the muff by Beach. An easy recovery by Price, the tight end that Frank was just talking about. And the only positive thing that has happened for Los Angeles tonight becomes a negative.
38 offense.
Well, it wasn't Sanders. He was pleading whatever case he was pleading, but David Lang is the man who's guilty of holding. So Hatcher to set up. The line of scrimmage is now the 27-yard line. And John Taylor drops back to return this kick instead of Beach.
We don't have to wonder why, do we?
Much better kick.
And a much better kick returner.
Yep, from the 34 indeed, to the 44.
We went from 86 to 82 very quickly, didn't we, once you bobble it.
4:10 remaining in the first half. 49ers in a rout. That's our lineup Wednesday night. Dinosaurs, Doogie Howser, MD. Then the MTV 10th anniversary special featuring Michael Jackson and Madonna. And the new show Civil Wars rounding out our Wednesday night lineup beginning at 8 Eastern here on ABC. And that is Disneyland from the Goodyear Blimp just across the Santa Ana Freeway. And back we come to Anaheim Stadium. The 49ers from their 44. Here's Dexter Carter picking up close to a first down. I don't want to start a quarterback controversy, but George Seifert's going to have an interesting choice to make next week. If Steve Young is healthy enough to start, and Steve Bono keeps playing the way he is tonight, you tell me who you start against New Orleans at Candlestick.
Well, you might have to consider the Seattle defense as opposed to, or the New Orleans defense as opposed to the Ram defense. And that might see Steve Young if he can go. They were going to look at him tonight. George Seifert said he's much better than I thought he would be.
Yeah, I mean, the only determination there is Steve Young and how far back is he physically. If Steve Young is 100% physically, there's no question he's going to be the starting quarterback. I mean, are you insinuating, Al, or that Steve Bono has played his way past Steve Young?
No, I'm saying that we asked Seifert last night, and he sort of hedged in his answer. He said, well, let's see how healthy Young is.
Right. I mean, to me, that's the only determining factor will be the health of Steve Young.
Well, the other thing, too, is that, I mean, Steve Bono fits into the 49er system, the Montana system, extremely well. From the 45-yard line, Bono back to pass, buying time, throwing, lofting the pass, and the catch is made at the 21-yard line by Brent Jones.
That's good stuff.
We talked about how Brent Jones was so important to this team, and that was a fine play again by Steve Bono. That wasn't an effort against a bad defense. Brent Jones pretty well covered coming off the line of scrimmage, and he put it
pretty well covered.
The only place where it could have been a completion.
Look at the coverage.
Butcher is back there with him, and Bono just hung it up there perfectly.
Butcher just doesn't turn around and realize that the football is coming. He couldn't have been any closer to Jones if he could have tried. I mean, he couldn't have glued himself to him anymore. One more thing after this play about Bono and Young.
First down at the 21-yard line. Bono to the air again. Bono drops it off. The screen to Rathman. McIntyre with a good block to Stringham inside the 5 to the 3.
That was very close to lineman downfield.
One last thing about Bono and Young. If I'm playing the New Orleans Saints with that tremendous pass rush, I want the most mobile quarterback I can get on the field. And that happens to be Steve Young.
If he's mobile enough next week.
That's right. I know if he's healthy. If this guy is 100%, he moves like no other quarterback in the league with the exception of Randall Cunningham.
Exactly. He's the most mobile quarterback in the league when he's healthy.
He had arthroscopic knee surgery a couple of weeks ago.
November the 9th, and that's, what, only 2.5 weeks ago. That is amazing to me. And it wasn't snipping off a little cartilage. It was a ligament problem.
2-minute warning when we come back. First and goal. 49ers at the 3. Anaheim Stadium, where the 49ers are leading 23-0, and they have a first and goal at the 3-yard line. Steve Bono is 13 of 21 for 265 yards in less than a half. Dexter Carter, touchdown.
Oh, that's fine running by Carter.
Took Strickland into the end zone with him.
Middle man behind the big blocks.
This is a certified butt whipping.
Bona fide, certified.
Well, you've never been one to understate it.
Well, it's tough to sugarcoat this. Here comes Foster again, this time pulling to the right. He gets the kick out block on Strickland, and Carter breaking tackles, dragging people, gets another 49er touchdown.
He carried that 250-pound linebacker, Strickland, right into the end zone.
Yeah.
It's a certified bona-fide butt whipping.
Good.
Cofer for the point after. 49ers with 7 first downs in their last 8 plays. 16 first downs in the half. 30-0. 1:56 left in the half. It looked like Dan Foucher.
Sure does. I want a new face.
We all grew facial hair.
Yep. My guy didn't win a spelling bee.
Jump up and flail around like that, and they hardly make a sound. It's the quietest stadium. Always has been, even when the Rams are doing well, but it's really quiet tonight.
Mike Cofer kicks off.
I say they have reason to be quiet.
Here's Vernon Turner from the 11-yard line. And Sanjay Beach leads the tackling brigade up at the 23. 1:49 to go in the half. Well, Jim McMahon, and what a story he has become. And the Philadelphia Eagles are back. They are very much back. And Jim McMahon, there he is, live from Philadelphia. We will visit with Jimmy Mack at the half. And also, Frank's going to have a chance to talk to the great John Daly, the great golfer John Daly.
He amazed me. He hit one golf ball from the corner of the end zone to our left, knocked it out of the stadium, and it was going up when it left the stadium.
That was before he showed us his field goal prowess.
Kick one from 44 yards.
This play is no play because the Rams were moving. I think it was Jenkins on the left side of the line.
Ball start.
Yeah.
Number 72. Offense.
Attribute that one to Charles Haley. That's called Haley respect. Trying to get the jump.
Well, Robinson said earlier this week, as we take a look at him jump again, John said it's better this year than last. He said last year I thought at this point we were going into the toilet. But what is he going to say now?
Somebody pulled the chain.
I thought they were water rationing out.
We should make this a nightclub act. Play the desert or something.
Tutbane in Atlantic City.
Haley. Roberts right there forcing the pass. Well, that a reference to Magic Johnson and his desire to buy an NBA franchise. Well, when your team is 3-8 and they're on their way to losing 6 in a row, signs like that abound. Second down, 15, and that's knocked down by Dave Waymer, intended for Henry Ellard, with 1:41 to go in the half.
Waymer been around a while. Good years in New Orleans, now in his 12th year. 3 interceptions thus far in the season, playing and having a good year. 47 career interceptions, and you saw a great defensive maneuver there by the veteran from Notre Dame. Spent a lot of years as a cornerback and learned his trade out there before moving to safety.
3rd and 15. Everett guns one over the middle, and that's too hard for Cox to handle. Aaron was there, but couldn't hold on at the 45. Fourth down.
That was a well-thrown ball. Everett had no other choice but to drill that in there, and he did. And he smoked it to Aaron Cox, and Cox had the yardage for the first down. He just didn't handle it. Good look at it, too, from the end zone camera. Looked off the linebacker. Jim Everett did. Fired it in there, and one you got to get.
Patcher to punt. Still 1:35 left in the half. At the 40, this is Taylor.
Oh, this looks good.
Turns the corner, gets a block, gets out at the 50-yard line.
Oh, our vantage point here at the Big A is as high above the field as any stadium in the league, and we could hear that with headsets on. The first block that got John Taylor coming to this side of the field. Harry Sidney with providing the audio on that one.
Yeah, we're up here.
Here it is from clear up top. There's Sidney, number 24, and that is,
he got a pair of them.
Yep. That's a harder hit than Evander Holyfield got Saturday night. That was a big-time shot.
First down from the 50-yard line, and the 49ers try to stretch their advantage as Rathman makes the catch. Forced out of bounds by Larry Kelm with 1:15 to play, and the 49ers have 2 timeouts if they elect to use them.
Interesting situation here. The plays being called down for Mike Holmgren, the offensive coordinator, up in the press box. Goes through the headset of George Seifert, and Joe Montana signals them in to Steve Bono.
Well, they're going for the knockout punch, but this knockout punch has already been delivered.
There's little or no mercy in the NFL these days.
Like there used to be.
Well, they used to consider, coaches in trouble.
2nd and 1, and Bono throws, and he was under pressure trying to get it to Carter, but it's incomplete. It will be 3rd down and 1.
That really isn't the case, though, with the 49ers. They want to give Steve Bono all the work he can. They have to win all of these games, and they're not going to pull up anything because he needs the work. He needs to go through every phase of their offense, even though they're dominating this game, destroying the Rams offensively. This young man here, Steve Bono, not all that young in his 7th year, but young in terms of experience. He needs the work. He needs the work at putting the ball up in the air deep underneath. He needs it all. So they will be not pulling any punches tonight.
3rd down 1 at the 41-yard line. Bono goes to his 2nd man and tries to drill it into Carter. Flag goes down. Dexter says, "Where's the flag?" And he then says, "Thank you very much." Henley with the coverage.
Henley with the coverage, and Henley with the early arrival.
He's been flirting with it all night. This time he got there before the ball.
There it is, up top. Carter just turns and sits.
20, first down.
Henley tried to time it. You could see him stutter step, and it really was close. I mean, we've seen it lots of times where a DB arriving at that exact instant doesn't draw the flag. But again, one more play indicative of what type of a night it's been for Los Angeles so far. No mercy from the refs either, I guess.
1st and 10 from the 33. Bono! Look at that! Does he make the catch? No. Jerry Rice almost stretched all the way out off his fingertips.
A mere mortal doesn't even get his hands on that ball.
And
much less almost catch it.
With the Jerry Rice, you almost expect him to come down with it, too. Great speed, concentration, gets the hands on it, just can't quite stay with it. Makes the dive right here. Look at him looking right into those fingers.
Look at that.
Tries to pull it into the shoulder. Oh, can't handle it. Great effort.
Back to Olympus, Jerry.
Yeah. Jerry Rice without a touchdown in his last 4 games, and that matches the longest drought of his illustrious career. 87 touchdown receptions.
That's just saying, though, that Rembrandt hasn't painted anything in the last month.
2nd down, that pass is too far for Sanjay Beach.
Been doing a lot of this with a very sore knee that We talked to him about it last night. He said he didn't feel like he should be talking about it. He mentioned it last week in kind of a total frustration, and said that he didn't feel like it was wise to talk about the knee because the opposition would know that he might have a weakness. Beach was open there, as you saw, and just a little late getting it in there. Bono floating it out there.
Rice back in now. Jerry comes out to the right on 3rd down and 10 from the 34-yard line. Henderson is the ace back. Bono throws, and that one was tipped, deflected, intended for Sherrard. Might have been Michael Stewart who got a hand on it. It'll be 4th down and 10.
Oh, Kofor is coming out for a long field goal.
Kofor has had a terrible season.
You're understating it. What, he missed 6 of 7, and 4 out of 5, or I think 5 of them were
He's missed
under
a
40
lot.
yards.
He's missed a lot of them recently.
Well, he's 10 of 21 for the year. He missed 4 of them in the game against Atlanta, the game they lost by
But he's missed 6
3
of the last
points.
7, hasn't he?
And he's going to take a timeout here. 52 seconds remaining in the half. 30-0, San Francisco. 52 seconds remaining in the first half. 30-0 49ers.
49ers had to take that timeout, guys, because some of their team thought they were going to punt, and some of them thought it was a field goal, and they had all sorts of wrong personnel out there, missing 3 players from their field goal team.
51-yard attempt for Kofor. Prokop to put it down at the 41-yard line. And that one is blocked.
So they're going to rule that Kofor was tackled there.
At the 42-yard line.
And that is the only good thing that has happened for the Rams here in this first half.
Robert Young, MD, with the block.
You know, they got the block, the Rams did, but that ball wasn't kicked high enough. I mean, it wasn't a extra special effort on the part of Robert Young. He didn't go all that high to get the block. Watch right to the right of the screen there. That's what you ordinarily get on any kind of special teams trying to defend against the field goal. That ball just didn't get off the foot quickly enough and high enough.
So the Rams have it with 46 seconds at their own 40-yard line. Everett throws. That's Price. He makes the catch and fights for a first down, dragging Waymer with him to the San Francisco 48-yard line.
And Kofor's woes continue because statistically that goes down as a missed field goal.
10 out of 22. Timeout Rams. They have 2 remaining with 38 seconds remaining in the first half. Yep. So Kofor, admittedly, he knows as well as anyone. And, you know, it's a funny thing. You go to a kicker and you say, well, you know, what's the problem? They don't know.
No. I talked to Lynn Stiles, their special teams coach, yesterday. There's Lynn right there. And he said, hey, mechanically, nothing's different. And he has a great deal of confidence in Kofor. The guy's been too good for too long to not expect him to come out of this. And I would fully expect that to happen. And there's one of the fine special team coaches in the NFL, Lynn Stiles.
They changed holders about 6 or 7 weeks ago, but Kofor says that has not been the difference. Ordinarily, a kicker, they're almost psychotic about their holder.
Lynn told me, Frank, he went back through the film for 2 years watching him kick, every kick.
Jim Price makes the catch. And when the Rams had gotten it to the 48 just before the snap, that was their deepest penetration of the first half. That sort of dominance tonight. Rams save their remaining timeout. First down from the 37. There's a flag down. There are 2, in fact, at the line of scrimmage.
Haley was offside.
This is Flipper Anderson.
Charles Haley was clear across the line at the snap.
Clock is now down to 16 seconds.
This is Willie Anderson's 3rd start since he broke the transverse process in his back. I understand that's what Jeff Hostetler injured yesterday.
Offside. Defense. Decline the penalty. First down.
And with that injury, Anderson missed 4 games, and it had quite an impact on the offensive passing game for the Rams. And he is back and healthy, as we just witnessed.
16 seconds remaining. 1st and 10. LA at the 25-yard line. Four-man rush. And the pass is batted away from Ellard by Kevin Lewis, who comes in with that right hand to break it up. 2nd and 10, and we're down to 11 seconds.
Kevin Lewis started earlier in the year over on the left side before Burton Hanks took over. Now he's over on the right side as the 49ers are staying pretty much in the nickel defense.
Second and 10. Here's Price. He gets wrestled down at the 19-yard line by Waymer, and the Rams take their final timeout with 6 seconds remaining. 30-0, 49ers. The Big A, they call it. Stadium that opened in 1966. Been the home of the California Angels since that year.
Now we have a difference of opinion here for the Rams. Down 30-0. They, ordinarily you think they're going to kick a field goal from this position.
I'd kick a field goal.
37-yard field goal, but they send Everett back in and down 30-0. How many times are you down 30-0?
I think you always play to win. You always play to win. They need 4 touchdowns and a field goal to take the lead. That's just the way I would. That's the way I play.
Barring a penalty, final play of the half, perhaps, but somehow only 4 seconds went off the clock. Only 4 seconds went off the clock on that play.
Yeah, and now you kick the field goal.
Who's running the clock? Father Time.
Yeah. Now why do you kick a field goal now, Dan, when you didn't kick it?
Because you need 3 points. You need 3 points.
Down 30-0.
Yeah, but why? This is what you would do in any other game. Why do you sacrifice the field goal opportunity? Nobody wants to get shut out.
Zendejas, who has not missed this season, he's been the sole bright spot. A 37-yard field goal attempt. He's got it. The crowd finally has something to cheer about.
Loudest they've been.
See, 4 touchdowns now wins it for the Rams.
Oh, yeah. Stick around. Jim McMahon, John Daly join us at the half, 30-3. 49ers will return with Monday Night Football halftime activities after this message from the NFL and a word from our ABC station.
Man, you're fast.
The Toyota Halftime Report. Brought to you by Toyota and their quality line of 1992 cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. Here now, Frank Gifford.
Halftime in Anaheim, San Francisco for the Rams, 30-3. Frank Gifford along with Al Michaels. And one of the interesting stories we followed all year long is that of the quarterback situation in Philadelphia. Jim McMahon has got the Eagles right back in it, Al.
Well, Jim McMahon certainly has the Eagles in contention right now for at least a wild card spot, 7-5 after their victory yesterday. When we did the Giant Eagle game 3 weeks ago, I remember Rich Kotite saying Jim McMahon is the key for the defense as well. And Jim McMahon joins us live from Philadelphia. First, Jim, about your elbow. I understand you have barely practiced for the past 2 weeks. How is it, and how much practice time will you see this week?
Well, I think we're just taking it day to day right now, Al. It's still very sore, and I haven't practiced at all the last 2 weeks, and I think it's shown in my play. I've been very inconsistent, especially in the first half of the last 2 ball games. But I just have to take it day to day, and hopefully I'll get some practice time in this week.
How much did the playbook have to change when Randall Cunningham got hurt on opening day and you took over?
Well, the playbook hasn't changed at all. We're running the same plays that we had with Randall in there. I think the biggest difference is I'm not running out of the pocket for 100 yards a game. I'm trying to get rid of the football and try to avoid as many sacks as I can.
When you were signed last year by the Eagles, Ryan was the coach, and a lot of people thought you were signed because you were Buddy's buddy. And a lot of people thought you would sign with Green Bay. You had a chance in the offseason, but you didn't. Why did you go back to Philadelphia knowing you'd back up Cunningham in all likelihood?
I think the biggest reason is I wanted to come back to a team that I felt had a good shot at the playoffs and getting back to the big game. This team is a great football team. We had some problems in the middle of the year, and you know, I think we've got them resolved. And right now, we're playing about as good as anybody.
You helped lead the Bears to the '85 Super Bowl. There's a similarity between that team and your team now, a dominant defense. But what about offensively? How have you changed from '85, and what is the Eagle offense like in comparison to the way the Bears operated in '85?
Well, I think the biggest thing, we don't have a Walter Payton on this team, that's for sure, or a Matsui, guys that can, you know, block and run the football. Right now we're going a lot with a one-back offense. James Joseph is a rookie, and he's playing real well. Keith Byers is running the football well. I think a big key is the offensive line we had in Chicago. They had played together about 3 years, and the offensive line we have here, a lot of them have been here, you know, 3 or 4 years, but we're playing 7 guys, rotating 7 guys, and I think they're doing a great job. But I think the biggest key was the cohesiveness we had with the line in Chicago.
Jim, there's no question, no matter what happens, even if this is the ultimate dream season for you in Philadelphia, Cunningham gets the job back next year. You're going to be a free agent again. What do? Do you go try to find a starting job someplace else, or do you go back to Philadelphia as a backup?
Well, I'll just wait and see what happens at the end of the year. You know, my kids have been to 3 different schools in 3 years, and I'd like to, you know, try to settle on someplace where they don't have to keep moving around. You know, we always go back to Chicago in the off season, but it'd be nice for them to at least go to the same school 2 years in a row. But we'll just wait and see what happens at the end of the year.
Finally, Jim, I've seen guys go to all extremes to get endorsements, but I think you took the cake yesterday. We're going to roll it in. You tell me what it was like when you get soaked by, what, 50 cups of Gatorade here?
Well, this was not a nice feeling. You know, this was in the end of the first half or the start of the second quarter, and I was pretty sticky for the next 3 hours. It wasn't real fun, and even my wife said last night when I got home I still smelled like Gatorade. So I hope that doesn't happen again.
Stay dry this week. We'll see you next Monday night in Houston. Thank you, Jim.
All right, Al.
Jim McMahon joining us from Philadelphia. His Eagles take on the Houston Oilers next Monday night on Monday Night Football. John Daly to join Frank when we come back to Anaheim.
A holiday football feast begins Thanksgiving Day as the Penn State Nittany Lions try to carve up the Pitt Panthers. Friday, the Oklahoma Sooners take on their Big 8 rival Nebraska. And Saturday, number 3 Florida State meets the 5th-ranked Florida Gators. 3 classic CFA matchups Thanksgiving weekend on ABC Sports.
Frank Gifford back at Anaheim, where the 49ers lead the Rams 30-3. Well, this past summer, if you follow golf, well, a young man, 25-year-old John Daly, captured the imagination of the entire country when he won the PGA. And he also probably got the chiropractors around the country all fired up because he has a swing like none other we have ever seen, or have we ever seen anyone hit a golf ball that far, averaging 280 plus on the tour. Well, tonight he showed me another talent he had, a left-footed shoeless place kicker, 44 yards through the uprights. Congratulations, John, again on last year. Does it feel like a dream you're living? All of a sudden you win the PGA, all of a sudden you're traveling around the world, and you go in the Skins game this Saturday, and you're going to be playing for $500,000. Who? It's Curtis Strange, Payne Stewart, and Jack Nicklaus. Has the dream come true?
It has come true, Frank, but it's just come a lot earlier than I expected. Being a rookie this year, it's been really different. It's been something that you've always dreamed of, but you dream it'll happen, you know, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years when you're on the tour, not your first year. And I'm just happy to play golf with Jack for the first time, and it's just going to be a great honor to play with him.
Okay, you walk out on the first tee and you look around and you see these legends. What goes through your mind?
I just want to beat them. Luckily, I don't have to keep score Saturday and Sunday, so hopefully I can make more birdies than they will. And like I said, it's just a great feeling and a great honor to be playing with amongst 3 of the greatest players in the world.
Can I tell you, John, how much fun it's been watching your development. Good luck. It's the Skins game. It'll be Saturday here on ABC, 3:30 Eastern time, and playing for what, about 500,000?
Something like that, yeah.
Go for it, young man. John Daly, PGA champion. Skins game Saturday here on ABC.
The Toyota Halftime Report has been brought to you by Toyota and their quality line of 1992 cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. We'll be back with the second half after this from our ABC stations.
Second half kickoff at Anaheim Stadium. 30-3 San Francisco. And Mike Cofer to kick off for the 49ers. Turner and Lang back for L.A. This is Vernon Turner from his 3. Up to the 23-yard line. ABC's Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Buick and your local Buick dealers. Remember, Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. And by Norelco patented lift and cut shavers. We make close comfortable.
You know, Dan, you played on some teams that have gone through some tough seasons. I've played on them. There's nothing quite like a locker room when you go in when you're down by 30 points, down by 27 points. You're 3-8 on the season. It's hard to describe what goes on there.
You only make eye contact with your best friends. I mean, really, you commiserate with the guy next to you, the guy you play next to, and you kind of make a pact. You say to yourself, well, let's just do whatever we can do to make something happen. And Damone Johnson is trying to do that right now.
As Johnson takes it all the way to the 49er 48-yard line, a 27-yard pickup on the first scrimmage play of the second half.
These guys are men, and they have pride, and we'll see how much of that translates into quality play here in the second half for the Rams, as you just look at how they've been thoroughly dominated in every category by San Francisco. Although both teams not rushing the ball all that effectively, only 41 yards for San Francisco, but they have made the big plays in the air. And that is a lot of yards for one half of football, 315.
Spot the ball directly at midfield, 1st and 10 at the 50, coming after the longest reception of Damone Johnson's career. It's followed up by a pass to Price for another 27 yards to the 23-yard line.
Well, Price is hurt. Oh, boy, he tried to get up and get back, and boy, he took one step and went right back down.
He is the free agent that came up a year ago, was on the practice team we talked about earlier, has developed into a fine tight end. A lot of protection for Everett. Again, they try to cover Price with the linebacker. Price is wide open, and
he gets hit on the right leg. Yeah,
Dave Waymer just cracked back on that right leg, and they continue to look at Jim Price,
who's had a big night. That's his 5th catch for 63 yards.
Oh, yeah.
An official's timeout. Well, a very ominous sight as Jim Price needs assistance. And play resumes with the Rams at the 49er 23. And Everett throwing off his back foot, but lofting it in the neighborhood of Del Pino, who almost makes the catch. Mike Walter covering, incomplete. And that's the 13th consecutive pass play for the Rams.
And a little protection on the left side so that Jim Everett doesn't have to throw the ball falling backwards, and that's a touchdown.
Trying to cover Del Pino out of the backfield with Mike Walter will probably indicate that you're going to see that a little later on, and they continue to work on Jim Price. Now they're going to take him off the field, and we'll give you a report as soon as we know something.
2nd and 10, LA at the 23, opening stages 3rd quarter, 30-3 49ers. Del Pino goes next to nowhere. Turned in by Keith DeLong.
We were expecting to see Marcus Dupree showcased a great deal tonight, as the Ram followers were led to believe they were going to see a lot last week. George Hill, how busy scrambling over there. 3 carries for 9 yards.
They got down so early, and Dupree certainly does not figure in any kind of
it's
passing.
3rd and 9
yeah.
now.
Let me work with George.
He doesn't figure in any of the passing games. I think we're going to see a lot of Del Pino.
I want to see how quick he can work down here. 3 for 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
3rd and 9, and Del Pino is wrapped up by Romanowski. And that's the end of that drive. Everett looks over to the bench. It's 4th down, and Robinson says, hey, down by 27, we need touchdowns.
Well, they were down by 30 and went for 3. Well, we got enough 3, John Robinson says. Let's hang it in there.
Looking for 7. There goes Price. And, of course, they lost Roman Pfeiffer on the very opening play of the game with a fractured ankle. So the night began on a most ominous note. 4th and 10. Everett under pressure. Everett dumps it off to the 21-yard line. It's Flipper Anderson who makes the catch, but not nearly enough for a first down, and they turn it over.
And the pocket totally collapsed around Everett. He did not intend to go to Everett. He was trying to get it deep downfield. Aaron Cox was working his way trying to get into the open, and now we have an injured 49er.
It's a shame that this came up short on a 4th down, because I think this is a highlight film catch by Flipper Anderson. I think he grabs this thing with one hand on a ball thrown way behind him. Look at this catch. Look, I mean, that's a candidate for catch of the year by Flipper Anderson.
And Larry Roberts is now on his feet, the injured 49ers.
Two injuries on that last play. Larry Roberts came off under his own power, but Pierce Holt needed some assistance.
And looked like he might have caught a shot in the head. They were asking him the perfunctory questions that you get when you get a shot, and he seemed to be coming up with the answers as he left the field.
First down, 49ers from the 21, and here's Rathman on their first offensive play of the quarter for a 16-yard gain to the 37-yard line.
A lot of juking and faking.
Whoa, the Rams acting like they haven't seen this play before. Every team in the league has run it, and the 49ers tonight just keep showing it to them over and over, and the Rams just powerless to stop it. Again, the off guard. Here comes Foster. He'll get the kick out on Green. The right tackle turns upfield, and it's Rathman just threw a giant hole. I mean, they've run that play probably 8 or 9 times already.
First down. Bono looking to go over 300, but instead gets picked for the first time in the game by Todd Light. Light with terrific coverage, and Bono once more goes down. And that's Todd Light's first career interception, the #1 draft pick out of Notre Dame.
Well, he gets the interception, but he has perfect position. And Light turns, and he sprints with Jerry Rice, and he's right there as Bono underthrew that ball. Late with the delivery, as a matter of fact. Slow with the delivery, and underthrows it, and he's picked off.
There's Mike Charles, and let's say this about Charles. There's a guy who's played a good football game tonight. Been in a lot of plays, both running and passing. I have an interesting question to pose. Bono looked like he was locked on Jerry Rice, who complained bitterly last week that he wasn't getting the ball thrown to him very much. Could that have in any way affected Steve Bono and his decision-making?
Everett airing it out on first down, and that's incomplete as Flipper Anderson is covered well by Don Griffin.
Well, speaking of locked by your quarterback, Jim Everett was locked on Flipper Anderson all the way, and just excellent coverage back there. Don Griffin, and he's getting a little help from the inside from Todd Bowles. Excellent coverage on the part of Griffin.
49ers up front right now going with Dennis Brown, Ted Washington, and Michael Carter, with both Fagan, who got dinged, and Holt, who was hurt on the last series, on the bench. And Everett quickly over the middle to Damone Johnson, but he's wrapped up right away by Bill Romanowski. They're spotted at the 34-yard line to make it 3rd down and 6.
Charles Haley gets so much publicity for the 49ers that there's hardly any left over for Keith DeLong, Mike Walter, and Bill Romanowski, the other 49er linebackers, who, as a unit, are one of the best in the National Football League. Certainly the New Orleans Saints and their foursome are at the top of the charts, but not far behind is this quartet here of the San Francisco 49ers.
3rd and 6. Everett slings it out to the near side. The catch is made by Flipper Anderson up at the 43, and that's enough for a first down. He's covered by the rookie out of Iowa, Burton Hanks.
Good effort by Everett, chased out of the pocket once again. He could not have, perhaps not have run for the first down. He certainly is not the running type of quarterback. Looks across the field, finally picks up the receiver and fires all the way across. So much confidence in that gun he's got, and he has got one. Dangerous pass, but he gets it in there.
First down, Rams at the 43. 9:55 left in the third. 30-3 San Francisco as Dupree swings to the outside, takes it to the 50-yard line. Well, Dan, you were talking about the 49ers up front and defensively. We go back to what we said at the very top of the show. They're only giving up 14 points a game. George Seifert was their defensive coordinator before he took over for Bill Walsh. And right now, there's a guy upstairs. Bill McPherson is one of the quietest assistant coaches in the league. Doesn't seek publicity, doesn't like the limelight, but in his own way, this guy does a wonderful job with the 49ers.
That he does. And another factor to keep in mind, this is also the defense that lost its leader. I mean, Ronnie Lott is now playing for the Raiders, and a lot of people thought that would severely injure the 49ers defensively.
You know, overall, they're just about in the same position league-wise in terms of yardage given up for the years they were a year ago. When they went 14-2, they came into tonight third in the league overall. And now mentioned 14.1 points given up per game, and for the last few games, last 5 games, they've given up 47. That's under 10 points a game.
And only the Saints and the Redskins faring better, and the 49ers right now with a chance to lower that 14.1 a little bit, as they've given up only 3 points. And it's third down and 1.
With an offense, by the way, that's not scoring a lot of points and not controlling the ball for long periods of time.
Everett gets the first down on a swing to Dupree, and Waymer tackles him at the 26-yard line.
Well, now Marcus Dupree is getting back into it.
He was just totally ignored by the 49er defense. Obviously an error, because even though he does not factor much into the passing game of the Rams, you never let anyone go this free.
I think it's only his second catch of the season. But you're right. I mean, there's the old saying about not paying attention to people, but that's taking it to another level.
That's really insulting, isn't it?
That's Christian Okoye coverage.
7:45 left in the third. San Francisco leads by 27. First down, LA at the 26. Everett. And that's an ineligible receiver, of course, as Doug Smith is there, because Tim Harris had Everett wrapped up, and Jim's still down. And a flag is down as well at the 29-yard line. Pat Haggerty, our referee.
An eligible man catching a ball, number 56, loss of down.
Now, you may say to yourself, well, if Doug Smith was really a smart player, he wouldn't have caught that ball. He would have let it drop to the ground. But keep this in mind. He didn't know if that was a pass or if that was a fumble. I mean, if that's a fumble, he just made the smartest play in the league.
Exactly right. He's been around 14 years, and he doesn't. No, he's probably got away from a lot of them in his career.
That's an instinctive reaction there. The ball is in the air, and you're better off catching it and putting it away. There may be a penalty involved, but at least you retain possession.
Second and 10 at the 26-yard line. Haggerty again.
Maybe we'll reset the clock.
May have something to do with down and distance here.
It's still second down.
Okay. I think, yeah, they had changed it to third. So now they get it correctly designated. Second and 10 of the 26. Rams send Buford McGee wide to the left. Delpino is the sole setback. Robert gets the ball and runs into a trio of 49ers led by their #1 draft choice, Ted Washington. You know, it's funny. In every draft, they talk about a couple of guys being classic underachievers. That seems to be the line. And that's how Washington came out of Louisville.
But the 49ers felt that his athleticism, his instinctiveness, he's got good fluid moves, and face it, George Seifert is a defensive-oriented coach, and as many people think of the 49ers in terms of it being Joe Montana to Jerry Rice, It has been the defense, which has been the backbone of this football team for a decade.
They're picking 26, 27 in the draft. There are not many defensive linemen around.
3rd and 9. Flag goes down. The play is broken up by Merton Hanks in the end zone, and there are 3 markers down.
It almost certainly has to be holding against the Rams. Either one guy was seen by many people, or many people were seen by separate people. Yeah, either one guy was holding and seen by 3 officials, or 3 guys were holding and spotted by 3 separate
Number
officials.
72, offense, still 3rd down.
Or 2 guys, well, one guy could have been seen by 1 and 1 by 2.
That's right. That's exactly right. See, you must explore all the options. There's Robert Jenkins. He's working against, I believe that's Tim Harris, number 90. No, that's Haley, 94. And he tackles him from behind. He leg whipped him a little bit. He tripped him. And Charles Haley, no matter where he goes, either sacks the quarterback, pressures the quarterback, draws a penalty.
3rd and 19. And Everett escapes trouble, throws to the 15-yard line to Henry Ellard, and they pick up a 1st down. Johnny Jackson makes the tackle, so on 3rd and long, Everett to Ellard, converting for 23.
Everett chased out of the pocket once again, and again he is able to get the delivery. What a strong arm. Kind of a sidearm delivery to get this into Ellard. Here comes the pressure. Steps back up. Fires the shot to Ellard.
First down, Los Angeles, just inside the 12. 5:40 to go. 30-3, San Francisco. A little toss to Dupree with some blocking. And then Michael Walter is there to bump him first and knock him down with some help at the 10-yard line. Gain of about 2. 49ers next week going home to face New Orleans, then just one more road game for them at Seattle. It's pretty tough. It's always tough in the Kingdome. And then home to finish against Kansas City. And on Monday night, December 23rd, we'll see him against Chicago.
Talk about going to the Kingdome. I mean, Chuck Knox, I think, is doing just a superb job coaching the Seahawks. I mean, he is doing an awful lot with a team that is not overly rich in personnel.
2nd down and 8. Everett, flag down. Everett throws into the back of the end zone and incomplete, intended for Pat Carter, who's playing at tight end right now in the spot normally occupied by the injured Price. Merton Hanks covering. But you saw the flag come in as the pass was thrown.
The Rams are walking back like it's against them again.
Everett trying to squeeze it in at the corner of the end zone, and Carter trying to catch it inbound.
Offense.
Well, a chop block. There's a call we don't see very often. When a defensive lineman is engaged by another offensive lineman or a back who's attempting to block him, you can't come in and cut him below the waist. And ironically, that is a blocking scheme that it is the 49ers that are repeatedly accused of using. And here in a 49er game, it's called on their opposition.
Back at the 25 now. It is 2nd down and 23. And a sack for Larry Roberts, who was shaken up earlier in the quarter, has come back and gets credit for the sack.
That time Everett had to step up, and this time there was no receiver. Good coverage downfield.
That's Roberts' 6th sack of the season. It's funny, the 49ers with a lot of sacks amongst their defensive linemen. He leads the team.
There's Haley blowing inside from his linebacker position. Tim Harris comes behind him, and they so disrupt the middle that Larry Roberts comes around end and gets the sack. Boy, that's an unusual look where both Haley and Harris both blitzed up the middle.
3rd and 29 now, back at the
31-yard line. Four-man rush, flushing Everett. Throws off balance into the end zone. The twisting and shoving down there, and there's the flag. Henry Ellard gets bumped by Merton Hanks.
Yep. It came in late, and it was a desperation effort on the part of Jim Effort, but he threw it where he knew his receiver could battle for it. And the rookie, Merton Hanks, pounded into the back of Ellard. Here it is, corner of the end zone, and they're going to rule that, well, indeed they should. Hanks all over Ellard, doing everything but mugging him in the back of the end zone. I think the discussion is whether or not the ball was catchable. And this will stand.
On the 1-yard line, first down.
It was, says Pat Haggerty and his crew, and that amounts to a 30-yard penalty and turns a 3rd and 29 into a 1st and goal.
Well, and it certainly offset a trio of disasters for the Rams. They had a holding penalty, they had a chop block penalty, they had a sack, and they end up with the ball at the 1-yard line, all because of one 49er mistake.
I said that a desperation effort on the part of Jim Everett. That was a good effort. He put that ball where he knew his receiver, Henry Ellard, a veteran receiver, could work against a rookie.
1st and goal at the 1. McGee and Dupree are the backs. Marcus Dupree dives, and no signal yet. Now touchdown.
Safe to say that the 49ers wanted to play this game without surrendering a touchdown.
Marcus Dupree going over the top.
Ooh, how about Mike Walter there? He got airborne, and his missile was just a little bit to the right of Marcus Dupree, and if they'd have met in midair, that would have been fun to watch.
The angry man on the 49ers sideline was the defensive line coach, John Marshall, venting his frustration as Dupree scores his first NFL touchdown. And it's 30-10. 49ers banged up and battered as the report comes from the bench. Kevin Fagan, strained knee. Pierce Holt, concussion. Larry Roberts, right thigh bruise. Keith Henderson, a pinched nerve in his neck. All that in the 3rd quarter. As the Rams go in for a touchdown, and Carter downs it in the end zone, and they'll take over at the 20-yard line, and there is Pierce Holt suffering a concussion here in the 3rd quarter. 3:53 to play in the period. 30-10 San Francisco.
Philadelphia's gonna try to put out the Oilers lights. Gonna be a smash mouth showdown Monday night.
Craig Janoff helping us provide the artwork here. Anaheim Stadium from the Goodyear Blimp, Columbia. Hovering above Anaheim Stadium. Next Monday, I'm really looking forward to this one. This is going to be fun. We'll be in the Astrodome. The Eagles, a great story. McMahon and their defense against the Oilers in the run and shoot in Houston. Monday Night Football from the Dome. First down. 49ers from the 20. Bono the fake. A ton of time. And then too deep, intended for the double cover Jerry Rice. And that's a redundancy because Rice is almost always double covered.
Hey, if Rice ever wants to get a few balls his way, all he has to do is complain again. They have gone to him at least a dozen times tonight and tried to actually force it into coverage on several occasions. He's made a couple of fine efforts also.
Well, you look at Young and Montana. Bono had the red-hot hand, but he's cooled off. Steve's last 6 passes have resulted in 5 incompletions and 1 interception. 2nd and 10 from the 20. Dexter Carter. And he gets wrapped up at the line of scrimmage. Robert Young led the charge. Rookie out of Mississippi State.
He has shown a lot of promise. One of the few promising prospects here and for the Rams. 6'6", 273, and they think he's going to get a lot bigger. They scouted him rather well. He's big from the waist down. He's on a very extensive weight program, a 5th-round draft pick, and they found him late in the draft because he did not really have the big upper body, the upper body strength, and he's already put a lot of weight on and shows a lot of promise.
49ers lead by 20 with 3:08 to go in the third quarter. 3rd and 10. Bono throws, catch made by Taylor, great spin move, first down, tackled by Newman at the 35. And Newman gets a hold of his face mask, but no flag.
Can John Taylor run after making the catch or what?
He really is amazing, and he is such a big part of the statistics that Jerry Rice has. You just can't forget John Taylor when you're out there with pass defense. You've got to cover him. You've got to think double coverage if you can at all times against him, because he's going to break a tackle on you almost every time when they throw him a little short pass. Consequently, Jerry Rice gets better situations than he ordinarily would without a John Taylor.
Taylor tonight, 5 catches for 115 yards. He had 4 of those for 100 yards in the first quarter alone.
Boy, he likes this stadium, doesn't he?
Oh, so do the 49ers. After they wrap this one up tonight, as Carter gains 4, the 49ers will make it 10 wins in their last 11 games at Anaheim Stadium.
And Joe Montana had a string of 9 wins here. He's never lost here in Southern California, has he?
Well, of course, keep in mind, along with that stat, until their recent road woes, the 49ers under Montana's leadership were by far and away the best road team in the National Football League. They put together that remarkable string of road victories. They were winning in everybody's stadium.
That long string broken on opening night against the Giants on Matt Barr's last-second field goal, and there it is.
Man, I speak it, and it shows up.
Yeah. Carter. Well, Steve Hurd will have it for us. We ought to ask him how he thinks the market will do tomorrow.
No, for that advice, we would go to you.
No, we go to Steve Bono. He's got the license. 3rd down and a long 3 coming up from the 42-yard line. By the way, one other injury report from the Rams, and it's not good. Jim Price, the tight end, a fractured right ankle. So the night began for L.A. Roman Pfeiffer with a broken ankle on the opening kickoff, and Jim Price here in the third quarter. And meanwhile, Robert Young was hurt a couple of plays ago. He's out as you look at the Ram offensive line. It's 3rd down and 3. And that's Mike Charles who jumped. Flag is down. Bono tries to hit Rice, but he's out of bounds.
Almost, I thought that Charles made contact when he came across the line. If he touched one of the 49er offensive linemen, that should have been the end of the play. I guess he didn't. And I believe that will give San Francisco a first down. They were less than 5. It was 3rd and 4, so this will give San Francisco the first down.
Offside, defense, number 79, first down.
1st and 10 up at the 46 as the clock ticks down to 35 seconds to play in the quarter.
I guess as we get ready for the beginning of the 4th quarter, after a play or 2 here by San Francisco, we'll have to delve into John Robinson and his future here in Southern California.
It is going to be a pretty interesting offseason here. Carter picks up 4. He takes it to the 50.
You know, we said that just about a year ago, didn't we? We were right here, and there was a question about what would happen to John Robinson, and then we leave, go away, and of course you live here, Al, but we pick up the reports, and John's a friend of mine, for many years the head coach of USC, and that there is a new management situation for them. There was a feeling of cooperation. They were all going to work together. Everyone was happy. He was given a contract extension, and all of a sudden we're saying the same things we were a year ago.
Well, we'll give you some food for thought in the 4th quarter after 3 as the gun sounds 30-10, and back we come with Monday Night Football after this from our ABC stations. And so we start the fourth quarter. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Dierdorf at Anaheim Stadium, where the 49ers at one point led 30-0. Now lead 30-10. And as the fourth quarter commences, it's 2nd down and 6 for San Francisco at the 50-yard line. Steve Bono at the helm. Under pressure, he took another whack as Rice makes the catch. That's a first down. Bono goes down and gets up once again off a safety blitz by Michael Stewart. Here are the numbers through 45 minutes of play coming your way.
Steve Bono getting 357 yards of offense. Interesting time of possession, almost the same.
Well, keep in mind,
how meaningful that is.
They had 315 yards at halftime, I believe, so it was a relatively unproductive quarter yard-wise. Boy, and look at the shot by Michael Stewart. Steve Bono has really taken some licks tonight.
And keeps on ticking, 299 yards as Dexter Carter exploits the hole and gets tackled at the 31. A nice open field tackle by Darrell Henley as he spun to the outside.
There's a play the Rams haven't seen yet. How about Foster pulling, Barton pulling?
What would you say, half a dozen times tonight? Minimum.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking more along the lines of 8 or 10.
That's been one of the big problems for the Rams, that defensive front four. They brought in people all year long trying to bolster it up. And a huge opening, and Dexter Carter almost got to the outside for 6.
Big block at the point of attack by Jamie Williams, the tight end. The best blocking tight end on the 49ers team.
Second and 1 as we watch from behind. A first down picked up by Dexter Carter. He gets to the 29-yard line. And a rustling match ensues.
49ers in the last recent years drafting so late in the draft. We talked about Ted Washington, the first-round draft pick. This year, we saw him in action a while ago. And Dexter Carter was a first-round draft pick. He was a 28th pick of the first round in 1990. Kind of hard to find the celebrated players when you're drafting so far down in the draft as the 49ers do. So they go for specialty types. And they go for players like Washington, who they feel is going to develop into a good defensive lineman.
First and 10 at the 28-yard line. Blitz again, and it turns out to be a good run blitz as Robert Young, who has come back into the game clearly after the minor injury, stops the ball carrier for a loss of a couple.
Speaking of the draft, one of the things, of course, people have been indicting the Rams for has been their draft over recent years. We talked about the Eric Dickerson trade in 1987 and what they did with those draft picks. It's kind of embarrassing.
There it is. That's what they have wound up with. Cox, Strickland, Stamms, Gaston Green now in Denver, Gary and Henley. The players acquired with the picks they picked up in the Dickerson deal. Carter picks up about 7.
Interesting to speculate, too, some of the players that they didn't draft over that period of time. And to mind quickly comes Michael Dean Perry, an impact player, Pierce Holt, Jeff Cross. These are the players that they didn't get. And they haven't got any real game breakers, any big players. Dennis Bird's another one.
Well, they have some decent players, and you can always talk about who you might have picked. But, Frank, what you said, I think, cuts right to the heart of the matter. And it deals with the whole process in the Ram front office and who does what and how it's done. And it's complicated, and it's complex, and it's somewhat clandestine as well. 3rd down and 5. As Rice gets whacked by Todd Light.
And there's a first-round draft choice that appears to me to be a guy who's going to be an impact player.
He does it so smoothly. He's a 6-footer at 186 pounds. He's sort of effortless. But he has all the style and all the grace it takes to play that corner. And he laid off perhaps a respectful 5 or 6 yards from Jerry Rice, but he was able to get right back in and make the play. And a lot of cornerbacks have missed Jerry Rice coming back to pick him up on that first little cut to the sideline.
39-yard Mike Hofer field goal attempt. And He gets back on target, at least temporarily. So Mike trying to break out of what has been a dismal season for him to this point. And the 49ers tack on 3 more and lead 33-10. (33-10) San Francisco, as the 49ers are on their way to evening their mark at 6-6, and the Rams are on their way to 3-9. And Kofer's kick comes down to the 4. This is Lang, a rookie from northern Arizona, bringing it back up to the 26-yard line. Holiday week, a lot of football on ABC. College football begins Thursday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. Penn State Pitt. Great traditional rivalry from Pitt Stadium. Oklahoma, Nebraska. Nebraska trying to win a trip to the Orange Bowl. If Oklahoma wins, Colorado goes. You'll see that game from Lincoln, 1:30 Eastern. That's Friday. And then Saturday, the big one. Number 3, Florida State with Casey Weldon. And number 5, Florida. Florida headed for the Sugar Bowl. That game comes your way at 12 Eastern time, 12 noon on ABC. First down, L.A. Dupree loses the football. 49ers have it. DeLong recovers at the 30-yard line.
John Robinson is taking his long look at Marcus Dupree tonight.
Yep.
Dupree out of the game for 5 years. We talked about it earlier. We talked about it last year. He was going to get his big start in preseason. Early in the year, he hurt his toe and has only been healthy in the last couple of weeks, and he is getting a long look tonight. And I'll tell you, it's a tough defense, but it's not all that positive a look.
Watch Dennis Brown, number 96, reach in, and his hand hits the football and knocks it out, but it was hardly a hammering blow that he put on that football to loosen it from that guy, Marcus Dupree.
Tough when you stay away from this game for 5 years.
First down at the 29-yard line. Carter stopped from behind. Tackle made by David Rocker. So we talked about Robinson. Here's the deal with John Robinson. Last year, his contract was up. They re-signed him to a 3-year deal, but it's our understanding, and it's been confirmed by enough people that I believe it, 60% of the contract is guaranteed. He gets paid this year. If they fire him, they have to only pay him, in effect, 1 more year. And the Rams have always been a franchise to watch their pennies. So the rumors will begin, and of course the names that will come to the forefront are the same names you'll always hear about. Bill Parcells, Bill Walsh, a couple of others. And all of this will, of course, now begin to cascade as the season winds down.
You're talking $1 million coaches there, Al.
Yep. And that's why I'd be shocked. Taylor makes the catch. Taylor takes it inside the 20, but he is out of bounds. He's out of bounds at the 25-yard line. He stepped out.
I bet he wasn't out by far. No. That was a remarkable move that Taylor made on the sidelines. We talked about it earlier. Dan mentioned it. I talked about it earlier. What a receiver after he catches the football. They're going to bring it back to the 25, but it's worth looking at again. Bono showing a good strong arm, firing it out there. And he had to fire it. That's pretty good coverage. Ooh, he came close.
Good call by the official, though.
But look at him pirouette. Get back into the playing field.
That's outstanding body control.
Oh.
I mean, he was out of bounds by about 2 inches or so. Just aren't many people can do that.
Third down and 6, and they're going to review it, apparently.
Well, I think he definitely was out of bounds. He touched the sidelines. The official was right on top of it, staring at it.
What the 49ers do is take a timeout here. They take a timeout with 8:49 left in the fourth. And San Francisco comfortably ahead. As we come back, it's third down and 6 for San Francisco as we look from high above. 25-yard line. 8:49 to go, 33-10 49ers. Bono. And that's incomplete. Intended for Tom Rathman, and they'll bring in the field goal unit for about a 43-yard attempt.
Well, this is one way to give Kofer a lot of work.
And help him get a little confidence back.
Darn right.
You know, you talk about the things you miss with the 49ers. Somebody asked me tonight if Montana was coming back, and all I can say is I just hope so. I saw Bono roll out of the pocket there, and I remember so many times Montana drifting out, and instead of firing the ball as Bono did there for the incompletion, Montana with the gentle little touch almost catching it for the receiver. So many great memories from number 16.
Oh, a fake. What would have been a 42-yard attempt. A flag goes down. Prokop runs for a first down. He's wrestled out at the 13 by Glenell Sanders, but a marker. And it will come back.
I think we'll have a holding call on the wing back to the near side here. What about running a fake field goal in that situation?
The only thing I can imagine,
33 to 10.
I imagine you just practicing something you might need later on. Well, just kind of rubbing it in a little, isn't it?
I believe, Frank, we talked earlier about there being no mercy in this league. That fake field goal, there's
Holding.
Lynn Stiles. He's
Offense. Number 89. Fourth down.
He's a special teams coach.
I mean, sometimes you often don't have a chance to try things like this without a big risk factor, and so sometimes it's not a bad idea to come with them. And the special teams have an opportunity to actually, what we're talking about is just practice.
Well, that call takes them out of field goal range, even though they could have opted for a 52-yard attempt by Copeland instead of a Prokop punt. And this play is dead. It's not even a play because the whistle has sounded. And Pat Haggerty tells us.
Ball start. Number 23. Offense. Prior to the snap.
Spencer Tillman. So the Dupree fumble turns out to not hurt the Rams.
Decline. Still fourth down.
They'll get the ball back. 8:30 to play in the fourth quarter. And Anaheim Stadium becoming vacant. At the 10-yard line, this is Jerry Gray. And the flag goes down. Yep, 2 flags, same spot.
One of them almost certainly, I would think, a face mask.
So this game winding down in rather ugly fashion.
And even though it is winding down that way, Al, you're still getting the hitting.
Number 90.
It goes with this game. You could hear that all the way up here in the booth.
Darren Jordan, the linebacker, watch his right hand right here, get Jerry Gray on the face mask. He gets it off right away.
Here comes somebody in late on Jerry Gray, and you hear the hammering.
And the Rams will have it at the 24 when we come back. A reminder, it's the Skins game coverage beginning Saturday, and the great foursome, John Daly, Payne Stewart, Jack Nicklaus, Curtis Strange, here on ABC, the Skins game this weekend. Rams at the 24, down 33 to 10 as Everett throws. Ellard makes the catch. And so the Rams tonight going down to defeat guarantees a losing season. And Frank and Dan, we were talking about Robinson. I don't know where John's heart is right now, to be honest with you. I mean, last year I knew he wanted to come back as the head coach, but right now I'm not certain.
I'm not certain either. And the more you're around the coaches, the players, the people who are with this Ram team on a daily basis, you get a lot of shoulder shrugging and a lot of, I mean, they're just plain uncertain about what the future is. And I think enough people are talking about it and enough people are questioning what the future is to make it very real. Let's put it this way. If the Rams play like this for the rest of the season, I think it's doubtful that John Robinson will be back as head coach next year, one way or another.
Well, I think you're right. And you know what's going to happen is Damone Johnson, or I beg your pardon, Pat Carter gets hit by Johnny Jackson, and that provokes the flag.
The other thing to keep in mind, the Rams have 4 more games after this debacle here this evening, and that is enough time to regroup, to show some spirit, to play some decent football. And I think that might enthuse everybody. It might enthuse Georgia. It might enthuse John Shaw. It might enthuse Robinson. And it might enthuse the team.
Yeah, but they touched on something else, man. They go against Washington here next week. Then they got Atlanta and Minnesota and Seattle.
But you can lose.
And at Seattle.
But you can lose and still play a good football game.
Yep.
That's not been the case here tonight.
From the 35, Delpino. I'll go on the record right now saying I would be surprised if John and his staff come back. And you know what will happen, though? You say something on Monday Night Football, they go to the coaches, they say, you know what those guys said? It gets denied or refuted. But, hey, what else are they supposed to say? You still have 4 weeks to go. He's got to go through the rest of the season. I'm just looking ahead. If I had to guess right now, I would say in the middle of January, there's a change here.
And I think I'll go on record as saying something I think most people know who watch Monday Night Football on a regular basis. The three of us are quite fond of John Robinson.
Extremely.
And think that he is an excellent football coach. But this is a franchise in trouble.
In fact, we were credited as a flag doesn't go down on the intended pass for Anderson by the local columnist Steve Bishop as being partly responsible for Robinson coming back here last year when apparently a lot of people thought he was going to get fired. We came in very pro-Robinson on that Monday night.
Well, he was a year away from the NFC Championship game and 1 game away from going to the Super Bowl. And this is the rookie Merton Hanks tying up with Willie Anderson, and the flag comes down and a call will go against Hanks.
Kind of similar to the same play that the other rookie cornerback, Todd Light, made for the Rams. Contact beyond that 5-yard area.
First and goal inside the 9, 6:51 to play. 33-10 San Francisco. Everett. And Everett gets down inside the 1, but not in. Romanowski makes the tackle.
That's the 3rd time we have seen a sizable gain tonight end up between the 1-yard line and the goal line.
Yeah. And Everett going with the no-huddle offense as he looks up and sees we're inside 7 minutes. He's going to pull this one out.
Second and goal, and Delpino spins away, and then does he get in? The Rams signal touchdown, but the officials don't. And the Zebras have the last word. Romanowski again stops him.
That was almost a loss. Took some good running by Delpino to get back towards the goal line. That easily could have been a couple-yard loss.
And Everett went with that no-huddle offense. It must have been his decision because they couldn't get the short yardage people into the game, and consequently, they didn't get it in.
It'll be 3rd down. The Rams take a timeout. Well, at least, one thing, at least they didn't completely lay down and die in the second half. It was 30-0 at one point, and even Robinson, who was nicknamed by the local scribe Doug Krikorian a few years back as Jolly John Robinson, is able to force a smile under very difficult circumstances.
He was very candid last night. We talked about him. We asked him openly his situation. He said, look, I will accept the blame. It'll be my fault if we don't play the rest of the season well. If we don't turn into a winning football team, it is my fault.
Well, that's what a man says, and that's what a responsible head coach says.
Yep.
He assumes responsibility.
And then, of course, let's go back to what we talked about before. The speculation starts. If Robinson goes, then who comes in? Where do you get the next coach here? It's a big market. You need a named guy.
Buddy Ryan would be a good match, wouldn't he?
Yeah, that'd be very interesting, wouldn't it? Georgia Fronteri, John Shaw, and Buddy Ryan. Robert Delpino is stopped short of the goal line. And there's a marker down. Holding, L.A.
While L.A. backs up here, I want to take a minute and pass along some words of encouragement to former Ram great Joe Schiavelli, who's in a Boston hospital battling a very serious illness. 15 years he labored away here with the Rams, and one of the all-time greats, Joe Schiavelli. Joe, get well soon, will you?
That goes for all of us, Joe. So many great games we watched him perform on Monday night.
And I guess at the same time, everybody in the National Football League still follows with great interest Mike Utley, the paralyzed Detroit Lion guard who faces the ultimate of uphill struggles. And needless to say, Mike, everybody associated with this game, all our prayers are with you.
3rd and goal, and the 49ers show blitz, and here they come, and the pass has gotten away, but incomplete. Aaron Cox couldn't hold on as Kevin Lewis provided the coverage.
I think Cox might have had that football. I think Kevin Lewis just made a great play to jar it out of there, and a good read by Everett. He had to fire it. Not enough people to pick up everybody, and he throws it right into the hands of Cox, and Lewis rips that right arm away from the ball.
Lewis looked like he was all over Cox before the ball got there.
Lewis has made some good plays tonight. I mentioned earlier, he had started earlier in the year over the left side where Darryl Pollard went out in preseason. The cornerback that they had planned to have with them for the season, the starting left cornerback for the 49ers.
4th and goal from the 10. And Everett gets hit from behind
fumble,
by Roberts.
That's a fumble, but he can't recover it on 4th down.
No, the only man
Anderson
that can
came
recover
up with only Everett. You're right, Frank.
That's coming back. Everett gets up slowly.
Yeah, he's limping.
It's the 49er ball at the 10-yard line.
We have a 4th down fumble. Return to the spot of the fumble. 1st down, San Francisco.
Well, he didn't finish it all off on 4th down. The rule states you cannot, nobody other than Everett can recover that fumble.
Larry Roberts, the guy who came in from behind and knocked it out, and a guy who left the game temporarily with an injury, came back in and really has played well.
They're going to be fun to follow over the next 4 weeks. They got a definite shot at it. They got a tough one next week with New Orleans, and they go up to Seattle, Kansas City at home, and Chicago at San Francisco. We'll be there for that finale.
Steve Bono taking as much time off the clock as he can, and Dexter Carter lost the football. Who's got it? He signals one way then the other. I mean, he's all over the joint. Ball is down, he says, at the 10, and it's the 49ers football. David Rocker forced the fumble, but San Francisco retains possession. You know, all of a sudden, this race in the NFC West becomes a little interesting. New Orleans losing last night, and Atlanta winning, and the 49ers facing the Saints next week. And Atlanta at home against Green Bay. I mean, if San Francisco knocks off New Orleans and Atlanta beats Green Bay, which they figure to do, hey, you got a one-game difference with 3 to play.
And what's the difference between Atlanta and San Francisco? A Hail Mary.
A Hail Mary. 2 wild games this year between those 2 teams. They win one on a Hail Mary to the Falcons, and the other in a wild one, 39-35. And all of a sudden, the Saints now go into San Francisco, having lost to San Diego in a gut wrencher, losing last night to Atlanta in a gut wrencher.
When the 49ers walked with interest after watching all the other games that they wanted to lose.
Well, there's a
today, all turned out to be winners.
Meanwhile, as far as the wild card picture is concerned, you're better off in the AFC than the NFC. The NFC is going to be very tough. Detroit is the best of the wild card contenders right now at 8-4.
5-yard face mask, number 20.
Atlanta, Dallas, the Giants, and the Eagles at 7-5. One problem the 49ers have, and they'll be 6-6 if they win tonight, and that's something that'll happen shortly. They don't play any of the teams in front of them the rest of the way, so they need some help.
It's hard to create your own destiny. It's that 2-point swing that they're lacking and not being able to not only pick up a win, but deal somebody else that they're competing with a loss. And
it's hard to believe, though, that if they close at 10-6, they're not going to be in there for a wild card.
Yeah, I think 10-6 gets you in, and 9-7 is dubious.
Considering how Detroit's playing, and they play Chicago Thanksgiving Day, it's going to be very interesting. That final game, that could be a critical game for Chicago.
Charles takes the flag, and that, of course, precipitates another flag.
Charles might find himself out of the game.
Charles is no longer in charge.
No.
Charles ejected.
We got a 5-yard face mask. Unsportsmanlike conduct also against Los Angeles.
John Robinson getting into that act, trying to save Mike Charles a few bucks.
He hasn't been ejected, but sometimes you'll see an official do it. Picking up a flag and throwing it is not a way to endear yourself to the guys in stripes.
I think I saw him give him the...
he didn't announce it.
Yeah, he didn't announce it, but he gave him the thumb.
We'll see if Pat announces it again here. Yeah, that's it. Well, Haggerty had to throw his hat because he'd already thrown his flag. He was out of ammo. That's
5-yard face mask. Unsportsmanlike conduct. First down.
Yeah, he didn't eject him. I mean, the referee makes the announcement if he's ejected a player from the game.
He didn't announce it, but here's the sign. You're out of here.
He's out of there. That will be costly.
Well, that's really unusual. The umpire actually made the sign, but Pat Haggerty, as the official, is responsible for telling us that Charles has officially been ejected from the game.
It's hard to believe that Charles didn't get a little personal about the official's ancestry, too.
Harry Sidney picks up 4.
I wonder if he'd have picked up Haggerty's hat and thrown that at him, if Haggerty would have taken off his shirt and thrown it at him. I mean, could have had a unclothed referee by the time this was over. Frustration certainly have to be running high here in terms of the Rams.
Charles, a former second-round draft pick of the Dolphins back in 1983. Started for 2 years for the Dolphins.
I guess this is a pretty good sign that he has been ejected. It's either that or he's going to beat the traffic out of the Big A.
It's too late for that.
Yeah. He'd had to leave at halftime.
Yeah. Sidney, some of the crowd met the other part of the crowd. Some were coming, some were going.
Players now officially outnumber the crowd.
And Charles is done. Well, for the Rams, a thoroughly forgettable night that began, as we say, on the opening kickoff. Roman Pfeiffer starting outside linebacker, fracturing his ankle. 49ers, 2 touchdowns early on, and then the safety, and 30-0 at one point.
Rams losing tight end Jim Price, also fractured ankle.
3rd and 7. And Rathman gets wrapped up by Stewart, who's coming in on the safety blitz again, and the 49ers will kick it with under 3 minutes to go. Jim Burt, longtime Giant, and then over to the 49ers on IR with their offensive line coach Bob McKittrick.
We gave them a lift a couple of years ago when they were struggling, and they had no nose tackle. Michael Carter injured at the time. Jim Burt was basically retired by the Giants, and they brought him back.
And the 49ers at the same time had Fred Smerlas. I think they might have set the nose tackle record for quality and payroll of nose tackles in the history of the NFL. Smerlas, Burt, and Carter.
Well, in contrast to the Rams, as Vernon Turner runs it back, the Rams have been very tight with the buck, and the 49ers have been the profligate spenders of the NFL, but it has paid off for them. A lot of teams spend, and it doesn't pay off. The 49ers spend, and clearly they were the team of the 80s.
And their latest acquisition, Tim Harris of Green Bay, a good example of that.
And they ain't dead in 91. 2-minute warning. Steve Young on the sideline.
Well, that's not Steve Young, but Steve Young was there for
That looked like Linda Hamilton to me.
All right, Dan, you're our Hollywood
that's
gossip monger. Who was that?
That was Linda Hamilton.
Okay.
Star of Terminators 1 and 2, Beauty and the Beast.
Steve Young, of course, from my hometown of Greenwich, Connecticut.
And,
Greenwich Cardinals, great high school career there.
Linda Hamilton showing great judge of football teams, working the 49ers sideline rather than the hometown team.
Mike Pagel comes in, the backup quarterback to Everett, who plays very sparingly, and Ellard can't hold on to the pass. It'll be 2nd down and 10 with 1:57 to play in the game. And the 49ers on top 33-10. Pagel has been around through the years. One time a starter with the Colts.
Had some good years with the Colts.
Yeah.
Went over to Cleveland, filled in off and on there.
2nd down and 10. Delpino breaks a tackle, and Jackson catches up with it. You know, we talk about the 49ers and spending money and it paying off. I mean, tonight's a perfect example. A guy like Steve Bono. You're paying Montana, you're paying Young a ton to be a backup, and you go so deep that you can bring a guy like this out of mothballs and have him throw for 300 yards. That's spending your money wisely.
There it is. Pagel with a rifle shot.
And Cox had made the catch, but loses the football, and the 49ers recover it.
Merton Hanks, who's played well tonight. Youngster out of Iowa. Picked in the 5th round, and again, Pagel with a good shot. Anderson doesn't get it tucked away, and knocked out of there by Todd Bowles, the Plan B operative. And we talked about the players that they have picked up. That was a pretty good salary that came with Bowles. Big long-time starter for the Redskins.
That whole thing started there when Flipper Anderson lost his balance and kind of put his arms out to regain his balance and got the football away from his body, and it was poked away. It's been that kind of a night for Los Angeles from the beginning.
Should will indicate we're getting close to termination.
Well, we can tell you the executive producer of ABC Sports, Jack O'Hara. The Wolfman, Kenny Wolf, produced tonight's game, which was directed by Craig Janoff. Joe Shavo, our technical director. Ben Harvey, our associate director. Dick Buffington, our halftime coordinator. Bob Simon, Dennis Zabo, and Jim Licata, tech manager. Steve Hurd, our director of information. Mark Amento, Brian Mobilson, our computer statisticians. Kirsten Anderson is our booth major domes, kennel keeper. George Hill, our statistician, and Malibu Kelly Hayes, right at home in Anaheim.
We are off to a very interesting game next Monday night in Houston. The Eagles.
Yeah, the Oilers had a beautiful opportunity to catch up with Buffalo yesterday.
And no team in the league would like the home field advantage more than the Houston Oilers.
As they discovered again yesterday in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. They squandered a wonderful opportunity when Buffalo was upset as well. How about Dick McPherson and that job he's doing in New England? Huh?
Tremendous. Now this one is over. The 49ers own the Rams in Anaheim. 10 wins in their last 11 meetings. They get to 500. They're still very much in the playoff hunt. 33-10, the dominant 49ers win it.
We're surprised about how easy the passes.
Steve Bono had a big night. Jim Everett didn't. Bono 18-33 for 306 yards. And there are the standings now. New Orleans 9-3 after 2 straight losses. Falcons very much in the playoff hunt, 7-5. Niners are 6-6, and the Rams 3-9. San Fran wins it 33-10. We'll talk to you from the Dome. Eagles Oilers next Monday. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Dierdorf. Good night from Anaheim.
Thanksgiving Day, ABC Sports begin 3 days of classic college football matchups. First, 6th-ranked Penn State battles Pitt. Friday, Big 8 powers collide as Oklahoma meets Nebraska. And on Saturday, number 3 Florida State takes on 5th-ranked Florida. Now, except on the West Coast, stay tuned for your late local news and ABC News Nightline over most of these ABC stations. ABC's NFL Monday Night Football has been brought to you by Saturn, a different kind of company, a different kind of car. By Budweiser, the king of beers, who reminds you friends know when to say when. By Canon, photographic consultant to the National Football League. And by AT&T, the right choice. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.
A promotional fee has been paid to ABC by United Airlines. Come fly the friendly skies.
America's watching ABC.